very talented right-handers. Tim Lincecum has already grown into his prospect stage, from his prospect stage into superstar status. Of course, he won the Cy Young Award last year with an 18-win season. He is 12-3 this year. For the third time, he's going for win number 13. Homer Bailey hopes to get it all together. He was sidelined his last time by a rocket shot off the bat of Albert Pujols, which knocked him out of the game in St. Louis only after 12 pitches. But if you break Homer's season down, and he's only had 5 starts both at road and at home, you see that he pitches a little bit better at home. But he's pitched some pretty good games on the road as well. He throttled the Philadelphia Phillies, a very high-powered offense, when the Reds went through Philadelphia. So he's capable of doing it, but it's all about fastball command for this young man. The 23-year-old has to be able to throw the ball in the strike zone where he wants to. If he does, he's got as good a stuff as anybody out there who will toe the rubber this year.
Homer Bailey is ready to go. The Giants and the Reds ready to play game 1 of this 3-game series here in Cincinnati. Giants and the Reds next on Fox Sports Ohio. San Francisco Giants. They will have Eugenio Velez leading off in left field. Edgar Renteria at short. Pablo Sandoval is their third baseman. Cleanup hitter Benji Molina. Randy Wynn in right. Ryan Garco from Cleveland earlier this year at first base. Aaron Rowand is their 7th hitter, and he's had a pretty good year on the road this season. Juan Uribe gets a start at second base tonight. And the Cy Young Award winner from a year ago, Tim Lincecum, on the mound. There's Homer Bailey on the mound for Cincinnati tonight. He'll make his 11th start. He's won 2. He's lost 4. 7.48 ERA. And one thing, Chris, he shouldn't be tonight is tired, because basically it's been 11 days since he's recorded an out.
You know, the only thing that can be worse for a pitcher who is tired is to be too strong out there, because sometimes you warm up in the bullpen, your arm feels great, your body feels strong, your legs feel stronger than ever because you haven't come off a long and tiring outing, that you begin to overthrow a little bit, that you're jumpy at the hitter. So it'll take a little bit of a mental focus for Homer Bailey to step back a little bit and just try to stay within himself. He's got plenty good enough fastball. We've seen him dial it up to around close to 100 miles an hour this year. He doesn't need to throw nearly that hard. He simply needs to hit his spots. And fortunately for Homer, he's pitching against a ball club that has had a lot of problems scoring runs lately. This is not a heavily laden offensive team. There's not a whole lot of home run hitters. They get it done a lot like the Reds, and as much as they scratch and claw for runs, they each average about only 4 runs a game. So Homer, if he pitches his game, he ought to be able to stay right with Tim Lincecum, who you would expect to be throwing a lot of zeros on the board this evening.
Homer Bailey, like Tim Lincecum, looking for his first win this year against tonight's opponent. In that game out there, he had a no decision, as did the right-hander Tim Lincecum. Bailey in that game allowed 5 runs, 9 hits in 6+ innings. Lincecum in that game against Cincinnati, 3 runs, only 2 earned, 6 hits in 7 innings. In fact, he had a no decision his last time out against the Dodgers as well. You've got that much hair. I guess it takes a while to get it all organized and ready to go when he takes the mound.
Probably takes him longer to get his hair done than to warm up.
And Eugenio Velez leads it off, the switch hitter against Homer Bailey. The first pitch is a strike, and this game is underway. He is one of 3 switch hitters in the Giants lineup, and this guy has been a pleasant addition to their club since he came back from AAA at the end of July. Exaggerated open stance for Velez. To the shortstop. And Giannis makes the play, and a good start to this one for the Reds and Homer Bailey. Here's a look at the Reds defensively, our forward defensive look. In the outfield, Vladimir Valentin in left, Willie Tavares in center, Dickerson out in right. The infield, Rosales and Giannis on the left side, Phillips and Votto on the right side. A battery of Ryan Hannigan and Homer Bailey. And it is good to see Brandon Phillips back in the lineup after he did not play in the game on Sunday after being hit on the elbow, actually on the wrist area on Saturday in the 7th inning against Washington. Edgar Renteria, veteran of many a team in Major League Baseball. Shortstop with the Giants, hitting .259, is up there. You saw Velez with the open stance. You see Renteria with a closed look into right, playable for Dickerson on the line. 2 out.
Well, they have him played perfectly, because for so many years, and you're right, Jim, it doesn't matter what uniform Edgar Renteria wears. He loves to hit that pitch, whether it's inside or outside. A little inside-out swing to right field. In order to combat that, you bring your right fielder in. That's where Dickerson is playing very shallow in right, and a line drive that in a lot of ballparks might be a base hit here is an out tonight.
So Homer gets the first 2. And the batter will be Pablo Sandoval. Here's a fellow that has burst onto the scene in 2009. Sandoval hitting .329, which is second best to Hanley Ramirez in the National League. Another switch hitter. He's a big boy, isn't he?
Well, he doesn't get cheated either up there. He's got pretty good eye up there, which makes you a good hitter automatically. And pitch recognition is important, but he does not get cheated when he wheels that lumber. He lets it rip.
18 home runs. He's driven in 70. Now he's even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Reds were off yesterday. The Giants played yesterday. They were a 10-1 winner in New York to end up splitting that 4-game series out there. Sandoval went 1 for 5 with an RBI in last night's game. They, like the Reds, have struggled on the road. They're 25-34 away from home.
You know, Sandoval has 18 home runs, and you have to figure that AT&T Park out in San Francisco is just one of the best places around to pitch. It is a horrible place to try to hit home runs, and you just wonder, out of those 18 home runs, if Sandoval were to play in a ballpark that was a little more conducive to hitting, like Great American, what that home run total would be.
Pablo Sandoval waits for a 1-2 pitch. And misses high, and it's 2-2. I mentioned that he trails Hanley Ramirez in the National League batting race. He's at 329. If he could win the National League batting championship, he would become the 6th Giant to do so, and the first since Barry Bonds did it in 2004. Right into the glove of Ryan Hannigan, off the bat of Pablo Sandoval, and a good first for Homer Bailey here in Cincinnati against San Francisco. Bank Cincinnati Reds starting lineup. Dickerson in right field. Willie Taveras in center, batting second. Joey Votto is hitting out of the number 3 spot. Willie's had a pretty good homestand thus far. In the cleanup spot is Brandon Phillips, then Vladimir Valentin and Adam Rosales. In the bottom 3, catcher Ryan Hannigan, shortstop Paul Janisch, and the pitcher Homer Bailey. Tim Lincecum on the mound. 12 wins, 3 losses. National League best, 2.19 is ERA. He also leads the league in innings pitched, 172 1/3, and of course in strikeouts with 205. His first ever appearance here at Great American Ballpark. Did not work against the Reds at all last year in his Cy Young year when he won 18 games. Dickerson leads things off. Lincecum gets a strike, and there Dickerson was on the disabled list when the Reds were in San Francisco, so he faces Lincecum for the first time. And he's at 1 ball and 1 strike. In terms of repertoire from Lincecum, Chris, what will we see here?
Well, you'll see primarily fastball changeup. He does have a breaking ball, a curveball that he came to the major leagues with. But the interesting thing about Tim Lincecum is the fact that when he was drafted out of the University of Washington by the Giants in the first round in 2006, he was a fastball curveball pitcher, and he got to the big leagues with just 2 pitches, fastball and curveball. And when he got to the major leagues, that's when he and Dave Righetti began to work on something else. He knew he needed another pitch. He had one a little bit, but they really refined it. And now that changeup that he throws is really his second best pitch. His third best pitch now is the curveball that he had.
Dickerson to first. Handle going into foul ground by Ryan Garco, the former Cleveland Indian from earlier this year. He steps on the bag, and Dickerson is out, and the leadoff man gone. Take a look at our 4 defensive setup for San Francisco. Velez, Rowand, Wynn in the outfield. Left side, Pablo Sandoval and Edgar Renteria. Right side, Juan Uribe and Ryan Garco. And there's your battery, Bengie Molina and Tim Lincecum. The older of the 3 Molina brothers, Bengie, who's having a terrific year again this year, is 3rd in San Francisco. The batter now is Willie Taveras. Lincecum at 5'11", 170 is not your typical looking strikeout pitcher, is he?
Well, he's not your typical major league pitcher. In fact, when he was drafted by the Cubs out of high school, he was 5 feet 9 inches, 135 pounds, and he's grown a little bit since then, obviously. But take a look at the delivery. It's an unusual style delivery, but he does everything right, including an extraordinarily long stride. 127% of his height, that stride is, and when you get out over your front leg and you stride that long, you're closer to home plate than you appear, and that is what makes you have a sneaky fastball. That's why a fastball for Tim Lincecum seems like it gets on you at, say, 97 miles an hour when it's really only 93 miles an hour. That's one of the big keys to his success.
He's ahead on the count to Taveras, who takes that breaking ball in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Because one of the things you notice about him, whether you see it on video or on a still photo, is that head tilted way to the left when he's bringing that arm through.
Yeah, he does, but he's able to keep his arm up and have a consistent release point.
In the air off the bat of Taveras. And the center fielder calls for it, Rowan. Uribe went out, but Taveras, he is gone as Rowan makes the catch.
You see where I'm talking about being over his knee. This is where you want yourself to be, right over this front knee. The other thing that's very interesting and very consistent about him is where he holds that glove. A lot of pitchers will flop that glove around, but he holds it right there in front of his chest. It's almost like he pulls his chest towards his target when he goes, and that gives him great direction, and it obviously gives him a lot of snap on the ball and a great arm speed when he releases it.
Now with 2 men out, nobody on, here's Joey Votto. Hitting .318, 17, and 58, his power numbers. And he's at 1 ball, 1 strike from Lincecum.
I'm not suggesting that anybody watching this game tonight as a youngster, you go out in the backyard and you start trying to duplicate Tim Lincecum's windup. He's been doing it a long time. His father was his mentor. He was his personal pitching coach. In fact, one of the things that he demanded when Tim Lincecum was drafted and signed by the Giants is that the Giants do not change his mechanics at all. You leave him the way he is, and it's worked out just fine.
Votto takes it high. It's 2-2. Go back to something you said during the open, Chris, and that is he only requires 10 to 12 pitches to get ready. Almost sounds like a reliever, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I think it's more of a mental thing than anything else. Pitchers go down there and they convince themselves that they've got good stuff. And I was a victim of it. I think every starting pitcher that's gone down there and thrown 40 or 50 pitches to get loose realizes that, hey, I've got a really good curveball tonight. Well, Tim Lincecum's theory is I don't want to know ahead of time if I'm going to struggle or not. I just want to get my arm loose and then take a winning attitude out on the mound with me.
Breaking ball gets Joey Votto, and that's a 1-2-3 first for Lincecum, as Homer Bailey had in his half. 1 complete, no score. This year, it's not been their offense that's kept them in the National League West and wild cards race. It's their pitching. They have really been superior this year on the mound. No score after one. Benji Molina will lead things off against Homer Bailey. Perfect 1, 2, 3 on both sides of the ledger in the first. Bailey works on Molina to get it going here in the second.
Tell you what I like about Homer so far is that he has thrown nearly all fastballs. 7 of the 9 pitches that he's thrown in the first inning were all fastballs. The first one he throws here is a fastball, and most of them for strikes. And what we've seen with Homer, and it's very common among young pitchers, that you throw your fastball early on, then you start giving up some hits or some hard hit balls, then you start resorting to other stuff, and then you really dig yourself a hole. But you go ahead, you stick with your number one and throw that the majority of the time.
Fouled away by Molina, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And that's really the way that you stay on the attack. I think that the biggest thing for Homer Bailey when he faces a guy like Lincecum, the common thing would be, all right, I'm going to pitch conservatively, not try to give up too many runs, because Lincecum, has got a low earning and he's not going to give up very many runs either. But the way to go about it is what Homer's doing, which is be very aggressive. Go right after these hitters, and you take the game to them.
2-2 from Bailey to Molina. You take a look back, 2007, when Tim Lincecum was making his very short stint at AAA Fresno, and Homer Bailey was at AAA Louisville. Bailey was ranked way higher than Tim Lincecum in terms of the top 15 prospects in all of minor league baseball. Bailey was number 5. Lincecum was all the way down at number 11.
Yeah, well, I would still think 11's pretty good. I mean, if Correct. You can, there are 30 teams, and if you're in the top 15 there with one of your prospects, you've done a pretty good job. But I think that Homer had such great stuff, and I think that's where you evaluate young men coming out of high school, coming out of college. It's not what they can do as far as learn how to pitch. It's what their stuff is, and that's where they rank those players. Major league hitters rank you on your pitchability.
Ball 4, and there's the first base runner of tonight's game. Molina is on to start the second. That has been walks an issue with Homer Bailey this year. 25 walks in 49 in the third innings.
Well, sometimes that really comes down to just overthrowing a little bit. And when Homer's missed, sometimes he's missed very badly. But most of the time, he's just been off the plate. And sometimes umpires will test you a little bit, and sometimes you don't get those marginal calls that a more experienced pitcher will get. You just have to be stubborn with your stuff and keep going after him.
Well, he made that 09 Reds debut back on the 23rd of May against Cleveland, and he walked 6 in that game and immediately was sent right back down to the minor leagues. It was in that time period between the end of May and the end of June where Justin Lear, then down in Louisville and now up here with Cincinnati, taught him that split finger pitch. Hannigan over near the Giants dugout makes the catch of that foul ball by Wynn, and that's the first out here in the second. His control was very good when he was sent back down for that month, and yet when he came back and made another start here in Cincinnati on the 27th of June at Cleveland, he walked 7 in that game. But since that time, it's gotten better.
Well, it has gotten better, but a lot of that has to do with nerves. I mean, no matter how you prepare yourself in AAA, until you get on a major league mat and start retiring big leaguers, you always question, is your stuff good enough? Do I have to try a little harder? Do I have to rear back and muscle the ball a little bit more than I did down in Louisville to get these guys out? After all, they're better hitters. And until you can prove it to yourself that you don't have to do that and do it over and over again, you still have that lingering doubt. And I think that's the transitional stage that Homer is going through right now.
Here's Ryan Garco, 1 on and 1 out. Garco started this year with the Cleveland Indians. In fact, had never played outside the Indians organization until he was acquired by San Francisco on the 27th of July in exchange for a minor league pitcher, Steve Barnes. Garco hitting just over 200 with the Giants. Homer just misses. He falls behind 2-0. With Cleveland, Garco was hitting .285, 11 home runs, 39 runs batted in. I guess he would be one of 2 major acquisitions that they have acquired in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Now, they'd like to have him catch on fire. So far, not so good for Garco, at least offensively. Only a .208 hitter, has yet to hit a home run. They've got him for his offense, something that they really desperately need to get going. They're 9 games under on the road, the Giants are. Ball trying to figure out a way to take those wins away from AT&T Park in San Francisco.
Big differential between home and road games for Garco this year. Past the mound towards second base. There's one. There's the other. Double play. And the minimum faced by Bailey here in the top of the second. A 6-4-3 double play. Nicely done from Yanish to Phillips to Votto. Brought to you by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. By JTM, food, family fun. JTM. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Jeep, you talk, we listen. It's a new day. Have fun out there. Jeep. Inning and a half complete. No score from Great American Ballpark. 4th meeting of the year between these two teams. Reds won 2 out of 3 in San Francisco, and when they won the game pitched by Lincecum, it marked their first victory in the state of California this year. Won that game 10-5. Up the middle, base hit, Brandon Phillips. The Reds get their first base hit of this game, their first base runner. Let's take a look now at our Geico quote of the day. It comes from General Manager of the Reds, Walt Jocketty.
We really like both these guys. We think that they're going to move fast and pitch in the big leagues soon. And I think the fact that we did step up to sign them and try to get them done before the deadline is an indication that this organization is trying, as we have in Latin America and in the amateur draft here, develop quality young players.
Of course, Walt Jocketty talking about Mike Leake and Brad Boxberger, the two 21-year-olds who agreed to terms with the Reds. Leake was the #1 pick. Boxberger was the 2nd pick taken by the Reds. He was selected in the supplemental first round, the 43rd pick overall. Good to have them in the organization.
I think you want to sign your top draft picks. After all, you spent a lot of money sending scouts out to watch them play. You sent cross-checkers out there. You got video of them. You evaluated them.
On a breaking ball, a line drive in the left and a base hit by Vladimir Valentin, and the Reds have the first 2 on here in the bottom of the 2nd.
And the bottom line is that your top 2 picks are the 2 best players you thought you could get in the entire country. So you want to make an effort to sign them, and I think it's a good sign that the Reds were able to bring both those guys in. Really doesn't matter that they waited to the deadline or not. I think they both pitched so much this year that the Reds didn't have a lot of innings in their future for this season anyway. Mike Leake, the 8th overall pick at Arizona State. He was the Pac-10 Pitcher of the Year last year in 2009. He was 16-1. How about that? And he played some pretty good competition out there at ASU, I can tell you that.
Chance for Adam Rosales now to get the Reds on the board first in this game. 2 on with no one out. Talked about how these two teams, the Reds and the Giants, down near the bottom of the National League in terms of team batting average, and the Reds 15th of 16 with runners in scoring position down at 240. Rosales showed bunt, pulled back. .209 average for Rosales with 19 runs batted in. And shows bunt, and this time takes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now this is one of those situations where you see the Giants are playing very aggressively with Ryan Garco charging hard from third base. Lincecum is a great athlete. He covers a lot of ground. So Rosales, in order to get this bunt down and be successful, you've got to bunt it hard down the third base line. Make Sandoval field it. This is where you want it to go.
Runner going, a pitch in the dirt, a swing and a miss, a throw through, and a double steal by Cincinnati.
Now Dusty Baker is trying to stay 1 step ahead of Bruce Bochy in that, and he sends the runners, and a pretty good idea there by the catcher Benji Molina, because usually it's a trailer that you've got your best shot at. But look at the lead that Valentin had at first base when that play began. Garco was playing way in on him. He had a big lead down there. That's a good call by Dusty Baker. Good help at first base by Billy Hatcher, and they've got Ducks at second and third right now with nobody out.
First steal by Valentin, 19th by Phillips. Now Rosales can flail away and see if he can get them home. To third, knocked down by Sandoval. Runner stay put, the throw just in time, and boy, Rosales went awkwardly across the base at first. He ends up on his stomach down there beyond the bag.
You know, he may have tripped over the foot of Ryan Garco. I didn't see where Garco's foot was. No, it didn't look like he was really in an unusual spot. He was on the inside part of the bag right there. He just kind of went down the line, and looks like he never hit the bag. Just tripped over the first baseman.
Yeah, he actually came up short on that. Probably more embarrassed than anything else right there. So second and third and 1 out. Opportunity here for the Reds catcher Ryan Hannigan. Look at Garco on that step by Rosales. Yeah, he just came up about a step short of first base, lost his balance.
Well, the beauty of the National League for a pitcher is exactly what you're seeing right here. You get down to the bottom of the order, your number 4 guy gets on, your number 5 guy gets on, your 6 guy gets him over to second and third, and then they walk the number 7 hitter. They're going to get the pitch to the 8th place hitter and then the pitcher to try to get the inning out. So it's all going to really fall on the offensive shoulders of Paul Janisch, who will come up here with the bases loaded.
There's the completion of the intentional walk to Hannigan. It's Bochy's club looking to get above 500 on this road trip after splitting 4 games in New York. Hey, we were talking about Mike Leake and Brad Boxberger. They're going to stop up here in the top of the third. Chris will get a chance to talk with them about the signing, what they're going to do next, how excited they are about being in the Reds organization and in professional baseball.
Anxious to talk to both of them. They seem like I've met them before the ball game. They seem like very nice young men, and looking forward to hosting them up here for an inning.
Here's Janisch with the bases loaded and 1 out. He takes the first one high for ball 1.
Well, what a crucial inning for the Reds right here. You never know how many chances you will get against a pitcher the caliber of Tim Lincecum. Cash him in when you can.
Janisch 1 out of 3 with a couple of RBIs this year with the bases loaded. And now he's ahead on the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Good innings pitch to walk ratio for Lincecum. 2009. Now he falls behind 3-0. Is in danger of walking in a run here in the bottom of the second. 43 walks, 172 innings for him this year. Runners lead away at every base. Ball 4. Darvish gets his 4th RBI of the year. His 3rd with the bases loaded this year, and the Reds break through first.
You know, if I wasn't here to see it live, I don't think I would believe it. I mean, here you got a guy that is so good and usually such in control. He walked the number 8 hitter on 4 consecutive pitches with the bases loaded.
So now the batter is Homer Bailey, who does not have a hit this year. There's a ball, and that is 5 in a row out of the strike zone after the intentional walk to Hannigan, and so much so that here goes the catcher of the Giants, Benji Molina, out to visit with Tim Lincecum. Home plate umpire James Foy also walking out there. Very atypical of this 25-year-old. Only the 2nd time in his career that Lincecum has walked a run in. And as you said, Chris, if you didn't see it, you wouldn't believe it. Ball on a strike.
Hey, the question is, do you turn Homer Bailey loose in this at bat, or do you make sure that he doesn't hit himself into a double play and then ensure that Chris Dickerson comes up with the bases loaded?
Yeah, that more than anything else. That's a fair ball down the first base side. 1 run will score. That's Valentine. Another run will score. That's Hannigan. A 2-run single for Homer Bailey. His first hit of 2009 means 2 more runs, and it is 3-0 Cincinnati here in the bottom of the 2nd.
Oh, it didn't take long for Bruce Bochy to get out of the dugout. It takes him a while to get to the first base umpire. Lincecum looking at the big board at the Great American Ballpark screen to see if it's that fair or foul. That ball called by the first baseman Marvin, or the first base umpire Marvin Hudson. Let's see if we have a better look at it right here. We don't. Hit sharply, but right inside the first base bag.
Well, you can see Bruce Bochy over there when we come back with Marvin Hudson. Here's another look. Very tough to tell. The first thing Hudson had to do is get out of the way. Tim Lincecum thought it was a foul ball. Bruce Bochy, Marvin Hudson, and now the crew chief, Angel Hernandez, with Bruce Bochy with his hat off now over there near first base.
I think he may already be thrown out of the game. I think that he's been ejected already, and he's just getting his 2 cents in.
Marvin Hudson throws Bruce Bochy out of the game here in the bottom of the 2nd.
Well, the Giants have had their share of umpire controversies in the last week or so. They had a couple of coaches, in addition to Bruce Bochy, thrown out of a ball game that they played against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Bochy will hit the showers early tonight.
Bruce Bochy ejected here in the bottom of the 2nd. Homer Bailey doubles his career RBI total. He had 2 coming into tonight. He has 4 now. There's Dave Vergetti, pretty good major league pitcher in his own right. The pitching coach of this San Francisco crew going out to talk with Lincecum. Chris Dickerson will bat now with runners at first and third and 1 man out. In the dirt for ball 1. Quick throw to first. Pardon me, to third, and the runner gets back. Opponents have been only 1 of 21 against Lincecum in his career. Prior to that base hit by Homer Bailey, who hit the ball hard, but was way late on that fastball. But as they say, it'll all look the same in the box.
You know what? It was a hard hit ball. He drove in 2 runs against Tim Lincecum. Something you can tell your grandkids about. He'd love to be able to brag even more and say, hey, by the way, I pitched a complete game shutout that night too.
Lincecum falls behind 2 balls and no strikes. Homer has 2 shutout innings on the mound in this game, and he's driven in 2 of the 3 Cincinnati runs. 2-1. Reds went down in order in the first, but have used 3 hits, a double steal, a walk with the bases loaded, and a 2-run single pass first by Bailey, which led to the ejection of Bruce Bochy here in the bottom of the second to produce 3 runs thus far.
Now the key here for Chris Dickerson is simply don't try to do too much. Don't be a hero. Just try to get the ball into the outfield. Get that one more run from Lincecum. It's 90 feet away. There's less than 2 out. This is the easiest way you're going to get an RBI off of him. So let's put it in play. You ought to get a good pitch to hit here.
Swings and misses there, and now he runs the count full. And really what you said, Chris, about Bailey can be said here about Dickerson. The one thing you don't want is to hit into a double play. Give Taveras an opportunity to bat.
Well, you still want Dickerson to swing the bat. I mean, Bailey's one thing. Dickerson is a professional hitter. But he's got to make contact if at all possible.
Toward right, base hit. He does indeed make contact, coming up with a single. He gets RBI number 14, and the Reds do indeed get that run in from third with less than 2 out, making it 4-0.
Well, they haven't exactly knocked the ball all over the ballpark, but that's the way it goes in a game of baseball. The second baseman, Juan Uribe, is pinched a little bit towards second in double play depth, and because he is so close to second, that ball will find a hole on the right side of the infield, drive a run in, and keep the inning alive. How about 4 runs in an inning for this Reds ball club? They only average 4 per game. They've gotten 4 in this inning against the National League's one of the best pitchers in the league.
Now Taveras pops it up to the second baseman Uribe into shallow right. Infield fly rule is called. Taveras is out, second out of the inning, and that was the 26th pitch of this inning for Lincecum. 9th man to bat in the frame will come up in Joey Votto.
You know, that's the one thing that I might question in this inning, because Willie Taveras is not a guy that knocks the ball over the wall or even against the walls. I mean, he may be a little more willing to take a couple of pitches in this at bat rather than jump on the first pitch he saw. After all, obviously tonight is an off night for Lincecum, having a hard time throwing strikes. Got to make him work just a little bit more.
Joey struck out his first time.
Votto's a different circumstance. I mean, he gets a pitch early in count he wants. I want him to let it loose.
Good location there to strike, and it evens the count at a ball on the strike. Joey went 0 for 3 with a couple of walks in the game out in San Francisco. The contest started by Lincecum. Now Votto in the hole, a ball and 2 strikes. Four runs, 4 hits, 2 stolen bases, 2 walks in this inning by the Reds against Lincecum. Toward Uribe. They get the force out at second, putting an end to a very successful bottom of the second for Cincinnati. The Reds get 4, and after 2 in front, 4-0. sign during tonight's game, Carla Osborne of Goshen, Ohio will win it. Register for your chance to win during an upcoming game at your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Reds and the Giants, we go to the top of the third, 4-0 in favor of Cincinnati. We want to welcome our two guests, young men who were in the news conference prior to the game down in the dugout. We have Mike Leake, the #1 pick by the Reds, the red shirt on. Here's Brad Boxberger, the supplemental first-round pick. And gentlemen, it's great to have you up here. Great to have you in the Reds organization. Mike, now you were the #1 pick, so let's start with you. It was a long, drawn-out process, although it started to come together, 2 or 3 days before the deadline on the 17th. How was it all as it unfolded for you?
I think it went pretty smoothly. Nice to get it done and over with. Now we can actually start the careers and move on and hopefully be here sooner than later.
Brad, that had to be the toughest part of it all, wasn't it? Waiting to see what was going to happen, when you were going to sign, and if you were going to sign, and if you didn't, what were your options?
Exactly. I mean, it's always nervous just seeing what's going to work out with the contracts and the deadline and everything, and it's just good to get it done.
Well, you guys got it done now. Jim, they went and got pitchers in the first round with the supplemental pick and the first-round pick. So let's find out about your pitching styles. Mike, tell us a little bit about your style of pitching.
I'm more of a sinker baller. I like to work down in the zone, mix and match in and out, and change speeds. Once in a while, I go up and just try to keep them guessing. I try to play a little mind game with the hitter, see how that goes.
Well, the sinker ball ought to work well in this ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep the ball down here.
Yes, you do. Brad, now you were a reliever last year. This year you were a starter. Which you like better?
I like starting better, just getting a few more innings out there each game, but the intensity of a reliever also.
What did the Reds tell each of you guys as to how they're going to begin to groom you as starters, relievers? What's in the near future for you right now?
I think right now just heading to Sarasota, see where that takes us, and hopefully bloom from there, and then we'll probably head to the instructional ball over in the new complex and see where that goes.
Are you in shape?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always been in shape.
So you've been throwing. You look like now you were a soccer player too, so I know you're in endurance type shape. But I mean, as far as throwing, what have you been doing to keep your arm in shape?
Long toss and throwing every day, whether it be long toss or short toss. Just trying to keep it going.
And Brad, how about you?
I've had a little more time off than Mike has, just because of the college season and all that, and been throwing bullpens, staying in shape, getting ready to go.
Now, you went to SC, right, Mike? Or,
yeah.
Brad, and Mike went, obviously, to Arizona State. Did you guys know each other before the Reds drafted you?
Not really. I mean, we pitched against each other, but nothing off the field.
No, we faced each other this year. Did we face each other at all besides that?
Yeah, never.
That's Uribe getting the Giants on the board with one out here in the top of the third inning for Uribe, his 6th home run ball of the year, making it a 4-1 game.
He's a pretty good high ball hitter, Juan Uribe is, and I think, if without looking at it again, I think that's where Homer Bailey got this pitch. Yep, a changeup that didn't quite come down. Now, let it be a lesson to you guys. That ballpark doesn't hold too many of those.
No.
I'm not sure how many ballparks do hold those bad pitches like that.
That's the danger zone.
Now, you guys have been playing baseball a long time, and this was probably the first summer that you really had off, wasn't it? I mean, you didn't play any baseball this summer in terms of a summer league. You just had to kind of wait around, and that had to have been difficult.
Yeah, used to just going out and playing summer ball right after the college season, maybe a week or two off, and then having this couple months off is definitely going to change.
So you'll go to Sarasota, you'll get involved in the program down there, and Walt Jocketty intimated that maybe both of you will get involved somehow in either the fall league or possibly the winter league.
Yeah, yep. We're waiting to see on all that and see how everything works out.
All right, now you come to Great American Ballpark. Have you been here before? I don't think either of you have. So you come here, you're watching a big league ball game. You've obviously been to big league games before, both out on the West Coast. You like the Dodgers and the Angels. But you watch the style of play. You watch the speed of the game. You're watching the players. You stand up here and you think, hey, I can do that. I can do that right now. Is that what you're thinking?
It's easy being a fan. It's not easy being a player. I mean, up here it looks so slow, but when you're on the field, it's a lot quicker than you think. And you're thinking a mile a minute, and you just got to stay as focused as you can.
Brad, how about you?
Same thing. They make the game look a lot slower when you're in the stands, but when you're actually out there, it does go a lot quicker.
You're right. You know, the old saying in baseball is the farther you are away from the dirt, the easier the game is. And boy, don't we know it up here. We're second guessing everybody from this third level.
Remember Yonder Alonso, when he came in last year, said they asked him what he wanted to do, and he said, I want to go out there right now and play. I think I can play first base right now.
Yeah.
It's slowly coming along in his career at the AA level. Now, you guys, I know, will start next year on the field in your professional career. And you don't know whether you'll start at A ball or AA ball, but certainly it'll be a difference for you because of the wooden bat, if nothing else, that you'll be facing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been easier to pitch against wood, but I mean, when you do wood against better hitters, it kind of makes it like it's a metal bat. But I mean, it'll still be awesome facing wood, and you can throw in a little more and try to get some wood in the fire a little bit.
You better believe it. Break some knuckles and break some handles. We found out what Mike throws. What's your style of pitching, Brad?
I just like to go after him with my fastball, pitch in a lot, and it's definitely going to be a lot easier with that.
Other than the obvious, and that is getting paid to play baseball, what is the one thing that you guys are looking forward to entering the world of pro baseball?
Definitely not having to deal with school on this side. It's always nice just to go out there, get your work in, and then just be able to relax after a game or workout or whatever instead of having to go home and do homework, write a paper, or that type of thing.
Mike?
This atmosphere, getting to get new friends and just be out here play baseball every day.
You made the comment down in the field. You're not necessarily looking forward to the bus trips.
No, I don't think you can. I mean, it's when I'm on buses, I think more, and sometimes that can be good, sometimes it can't.
Reds leading this game 4-1. We're visiting with Mike Leake and Brad Boxberger, the first-round picks by Cincinnati in the 2009 draft. Mike was the #1 pick. Brad, the supplemental pick at 43rd overall. Out of Southern Cal and out of Arizona State. Now, both of you intimated that you have pitched against one another before. How did those games go?
We won't talk about it.
So, Brad, they must have gone pretty well.
As well as they could have gone.
It was a close game. It was like a 2-1 ball game.
Yeah. Now, Mike, during the College World Series, you threw the first game, and then there came some information out that you had some tendonitis, and you were not going to throw again. But then you went out and thrown. Everything okay with you?
Yeah, my arm's fine. Just needed a little rest, and it was good to get a month off or so and go back at it.
You enjoy that time in Omaha?
Yeah, I mean, first year it was a little better.
Sure.
Just because it's new to you, and second year it's more about business and trying to win ball games. But it was still a fun adventure.
Just eludes the glove of Brandon Phillips and out into right field in a base hit.
Well, tonight we're seeing a couple of very young pitchers. Homer Bailey, only 23 years old. He turned 23 this season in the month of May. And Tim Lincecum, obviously at 25, one of the best pitchers in the league. What do you learn when you watch these young guys like that?
I don't know. You just got to watch the way they pitch. Lincecum's a great example for me because he kind of mixes, even though he's more fastball dominant, I mean, he kind of mixes and matches with his curve and his change as a put-away pitch. But Homer's, I think, more like Brad a little bit, kind of tries to go at you with your fastball.
All right, now, Mike, #1 draft pick at Arizona State. You were a junior. If they didn't get the deal done, were you going back to school?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to independent ball. I mean, might as well get your degree out of the way.
And I'm sure they would have loved to have you back there. It's in the Sun Devil uniform.
Yeah. I mean, they already got one of us back. They got Spence back, and he was an integral part of our team last year. But they're really happy to get him back.
Valentine closes on that ball to retire the side here in the top of the third. Mike Leake, Brad Boxberger, thanks for coming up. Congratulations on signing with the Reds, and good luck as your professional career start down in Sarasota later this week.
Thanks a lot.
Hope to see you guys real
$25 from Shakely goes to the Reds Community Fund. Shakely, it's done. Reds up bottom of the third. They give up a run in the top of the third on the home run ball by Uribe, and now it's a 4-1 game in favor of the Reds. And in the bottom of the third, it's Brandon Phillips who led off the second with a single to center, and he hits the first pitch here in the third into right. Going to be handled by Randy Wynn. So 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of inning number 3. And it will be Vladimir Valentin. Well, a couple of confident-looking men right there in the top of the third. We had a chance to visit with Mike Leake, Brad Boxberger out of Arizona State and Southern Cal, respectively.
Well, you know, it's interesting. They're very nice young men. They seem to be well-spoken. You know, even though Mike Leake's not a tall guy, boy, shaking hands with him. He's got big, strong hands, I can tell you that. Boxberger's a big guy. And the word on him, he throws very hard. And so they are two different style of pitchers. Boxberger more of a four-seam fastball power pitcher. And Mike Leake has been compared to the style of Greg Maddux. Can't put him into that category, obviously, but he's the same type of style of sinker, slider, changing speeds, and so on. But the interesting thing is that the Reds went to the college ranks to get their top picks, which means that they're automatically going to be 2 or 3 years closer to the majors if they make it that far than a kid coming out of high school.
Not only back to the college ranks, but back to pitching, where they had gone away since 2004 when they drafted the man on the mound tonight for the Reds, Homer Bailey. Since that time, Yonder Alonso last year, catcher Devin Mesoraca in 07, Drew Stubbs in 06, Jay Bruce in 05. Late cut, a miss. Valentin taken care of quickly, and there are 2 men out in the bottom of the third.
It looks like all of a sudden Tim Lincecum got a wake-up call. Either that or he told himself, you know what, bear down a little bit, rear back and throw a little bit harder, because he threw him right by Vladimir Valentin in that at-bat.
He gets 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the third, and a deal now with Adam Rosales. First pitch swinging to the shortstop. Renteria to first, and there's a very quick 1-2-3 third turned in by Tim Lincecum. We're through 3. Reds in front by 3. Major league players born in San Francisco. Tonight's Aflac trivia question. Well, I think we can give you one hint, and one of them is here in this ballpark tonight.
So you're going to have to give me more than one hint, but that does give us a stand up, or at least a leg up on getting one of them here. Let's see.
In fact, I'll give you a second hint.
I don't think any of them are. I don't think the Reds have a player that was born in San Francisco.
One is in the ballpark tonight, and the other One of the others just left town. Pablo Sandoval here in the top of the 4th inning for the Giants. Struck out his first time against Bailey, the only strikeout that Homer has picked up thus far tonight. Sandoval, Benji Molina, Randy Wynn, 3, 4, 5 in the Giants lineup. First full year in the big leagues for Sandoval as Homer Bailey intently gets the sign from Hannigan. To first, Votto on the outfield grass. Close, but out at first base. First out, inning number 4. Everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customizable features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. Chris, are you a fantasy football guy?
I am not, but considering it this year.
Arm twisting going on?
No, I might be the only one I know who's not into it.
Well,
don't want to be left out.
Then.
Two? Okay.
I'm not into it either. Sandoval over 2. Benji Molina up there now. Walked his first time, and he's out in front of that off-speed pitch by Bailey for strike 1. We're talking earlier about Homer Bailey developing the split finger pitch, which he learned from Justin Lear. And now that really was able to get him back to the big leagues after that late May start, which was a disaster against Cleveland. Molina could not lay off that. He's in the hole, 2 strikes.
Well, I think it's one thing that Homer has struggled with even in his minor league career is coming up with that third pitch. He's always had a very good fastball. Obviously, you have to have that to be drafted number 1 out of high school. Number 2, he had a pretty good breaking ball, big overhand curveball that usually gets tightened up at some point during your minor league career. But the third thing, the changeup, has always been elusive for him. And that's why he was willing to try just about anything, as most pitchers are. You're sitting around minor leagues and AAA especially, and you're talking to some veteran minor leaguers in the bullpen, and there's Justin Lear who said, hey, why don't you try this? And you show him a little bit of a different grip on your pitch. And you know, these pitchers are always talking amongst themselves, trying to improve each other, trying to give everybody ideas, and it's really a free exchange of ideas down in the bullpen or in a clubhouse. And they eventually called permission up here to the major league offices and said, is it okay if Homer's able to throw this split finger pitch, because he had not worked on it before? And they said, as long as he continues to throw strikes with his fastball, go for it. And it has made him a much better pitcher, and you've seen that firsthand, Jim.
There's one chased out of the zone by Molina. He strikes out. Strikeout number 2 for Bailey.
Well, he's got an explosive fastball tonight, does Homer Bailey. Nice, easy motion. Then 96, a little bit of cut on that ball as it races away from the right-handed hitter.
So he had a 1-2-3 first, looking to have a 1-2-3 fourth, and he deals with Randy Wynn. Wynn, the third of the 3 switch hitters in San Francisco's lineup tonight. Much better hitter from this side than he is the right side. He has a unique stance up there. Randy Wynn, the former Tampa Bay Rays player. Fouled out to the catcher right over near the Giants dugout his first time. Keeps that bat right near his head. 1-1. Wynn hitting .266 overall. 301 from the left side, only 152 from the right side, and both of his home runs have come from this side of the plate. Now he's at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now that's a split finger right there. Homer Bailey had thrown a few of those up around 90 miles an hour. That time he went down to about 86 miles an hour on that pitch, and that makes it a very good one. When you don't overthrow it, give it a chance to get the hitter out on his front foot a little bit.
Base hit into right center. Phillips couldn't move for that ball. It went by him so quickly, and Wynn has himself a 2-out single. Hit number 3 for San Francisco.
I got to believe that was another split finger pitch, but that time he overthrew it a little bit and get it up around your waist. Those are the best pitches, that when they start at the bottom of the strike zone and eventually break down and out of the zone. There's a release point, and you see the finger position on it. He does have definitely a split finger pitch right there, but when it comes up around the waist, it just kind of rolls up there for you. You start that baby out down around the knees, and it'll end up at the shoe tops. It is not designed to be a called strike. It's designed to be a pitch that hitters will swing after and chase out of the zone.
Wynn on with 2 out. Ryan Garco, the batter. Wynn has been a very consistent hitter. In fact, one of the top hit producers since 2002. Trailing only Ichiro and Juan Pierre now of the Dodgers. Wynn is going. Throw is there by Hannigan. Tag put on by Phillips, and for only the 2nd time this year, Wynn is caught stealing. Hannigan has done a great job behind the plate. Here's a look at Randy Wynn taking off for second in the top of the 4th, and look at Hannigan's explosion to second base on that throw, and they get Wynn. And again, only the 2nd time he's been caught this year.
Well, you know what, and it is amazing and a terrific job by Hannigan, because remember that Homer Bailey is still learning how to hold runners tight at first base. He is very long and deliberate to the plate, and he doesn't usually give a catcher a lot of chance to throw guys out, but Hannigan has been superb in that area. Sometimes that can be misleading. Now, Hannigan's, he probably ought to get more credit than he was. And to throw out 46% of the runners is among the tops in all of baseball. But I think he is one of the best in the business at doing that, given the fact that some of the pitchers on this ball club aren't all that good at holding runners.
Well, if you're at 40%, that's like being a 300 hitter.
Yes,
so he's at 46%. That's very, very good. Hannigan had the intentional walk back in the 2nd, that 4-run frame for the Reds against Lincecum. Bottom 3 here against the right-hander. Giannis on deck, then the pitcher spot. Four runs on 4 hits for Cincinnati, a run on 3 hits for San Francisco. That ball hit the umpire, deflects out into left field. It's a base hit for Hannigan. He's on for the 2nd time. Earlier it was Marvin Hudson who barely got out of the way. The ball hit by Bailey, and now Lance Barksdale is clipped on that ball.
Well, you think you're going to get the night off when you're a third base umpire. He's actually standing in foul territory. Lance Barksdale is. That ball looked like it hit the backside of the third base bag and took a weird little skip. He wasn't sure which way to go, foul territory or fair territory. But remember, where it is goes over the bag determines whether it's fair or foul. Clearly fair, and he almost a little kick save right there.
His left shin may be a little sore once he gets into that locker room later on tonight. Giannis, first pitch swinging, corks one here toward the alley, but chased down by Aaron Rowand for the first out here in the bottom of the fourth. That will be Homer Bailey. Time to take a look at our Aflac trivia question and its answer here in the bottom of the fourth. Two of the four active major league players born in the city by the bay. Did you get any, Chris?
I did not get any, and I suspect there might be a Cincinnati Reds player. How about that? Johnny Gomes. I should have known that about Johnny.
That was the first clue. The second one, Niger Morgan, who just left town. Gary Matthews Jr., Tyler Walker. Foul ball by Bailey for strike one.
Good question.
Now, when you were going to San Francisco as a player, it was Candlestick.
Yes, it was. It was cold, cold Candlestick. You show up there 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It would be beautiful, sunny, warm. At about 6:30 or 7 o'clock, the winds would pick up to about 50 miles an hour. Temperature would drop 30 or 40 degrees in a matter of minutes, it seemed like. And man, oh man, you could not wear enough clothes to keep warm.
Back when they played there, I don't know, maybe they just couldn't decide what they wanted on the field because they had grass, they had turf, then they had the turf infield and the grass outfield. To Bailey, first base side, nicely done by Homer. Garco flips it to the second baseman covering. Sacrifice bunt goes 3-4. And out number 2, and Bailey gets it done to the right side of the plate.
Good job for Homie Bailey. We've seen him struggle in that a couple of times so far this year. That is his second sacrifice bunt. He's already picked up his first hit of the season, a couple of runs batted in. So having a good night all the way around. Stay focused, young man.
With Hannigan now in scoring position, Chris Dickerson has an opportunity again. He had the base hit in the second. Drove in Paul Yanish. He has an opportunity to drive in Hannigan here in the bottom of the fourth. Breaking ball strike. Boy, Dickerson came out of the chute fast, didn't he, once he was activated again in St. Louis in that series?
He really did. You know, sometimes that happens. A guy comes off the disabled list. Remember, Dickerson, you know, really didn't need to be on that 15-day disabled list from his injury standpoint. I mean, he didn't need 15 days to recover, but the Reds needed to have an active player. So if Dickerson was going to be out 5 or 6 days, they said, you know what, we can't go that many games short of player, so we're going to have to DL you and bring somebody else up. We just can't play short that long. So he was able to really do a lot of baseball stuff in the meantime and played a lot of games. I think he played 4 or 5 games down there with the Bats.
Yeah, he went on the road with the team to Rochester, New York, played in 3 of the games out there. Said he was ready to go, and he was in St. Louis actually a day early before the series started. Very good on base percentage for Chris at .365. Fans right into the blogs, Chris. They wonder why Dickerson isn't in the leadoff spot all the time, because if you compare the on base percentage of Dickerson and Taveras, there's no comparison.
Well, there isn't. You're looking at Willie Taveras at a .276 on base percentage and Chris Dickerson at .365.
Towards center, Rowan back. He'll have room on the track to retire the side. Dickerson gives it a good ride, but all for naught here in the bottom of the fourth. Reds leave one of stranded 3 and lead by 3. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Hey, there's another sport going on in town this week. There's Andy Roddick. What a classic Wimbledon final he was in with Roger Federer this year. That fifth set, the longest fifth set Wimbledon men's final history.
How long was it?
It was something like 18-16. 18 games to 16 games.
In terms of hours, it had to be.
It was almost a 5-hour.
5-hour round, yeah, 5-hour round.
Won by Federer, which gave him the most majors in history, surpassing Pete Sampras.
How exhausting that must be.
One-on-one, baby.
Because it's not like in baseball where when the other guy's batting, you get to sit in the dugout.
Right, right.
How are your tennis skills, Jim?
I played a lot of tennis for about 10 years after college, but not so much anymore, although I still enjoyed a lot. Dickerson drifting is going to get there and make the catch, and Garco is retired, out number 1. And you?
Not really much at all.
I like it because
a little recreational tennis here and there, but it's a grueling sport. I mean, you really have to be in shape.
Well, it's inexpensive, doesn't take nearly as long as golf, and you can get in the semblance of shape by playing it.
That's true. Well, I like golf because you can play it out of shape and enjoy yourself along the way, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. Speaking of that, you had a good time, didn't you?
Yeah, we enjoyed ourselves very much yesterday. The Rumpke Charity Classic down at Belterra was for the benefit of Jeff Pecoro's tournament, or one of his charities, the Sudden Infant Death Syndrome charity that the Bright House Network that he's gotten involved in has been tremendous. And as it turned out, the team that was captained by Marty Brenneman and included UC basketball analyst and former great player Anthony Buford, Dave Shively, and myself came in second place, and we didn't even cheat.
And what were you, 10 or 11 under? Is that what I heard?
We were 10 under, and Marty reminded me after we found out we were in second instead of first, because there was a play of the cards to determine the winner, because the other team was 10 under as well. He reminded me of that little, 1 foot or 2 foot putt that I missed early in the match that may have cost us the round.
Wow.
He was putting lights out. I've never seen Marty putt like that in my life.
What was inspiring him?
I have no idea. Maybe lack of sleep. He was in the casino the night before.
Tournament raised over $150,000, and that's a great total. And I know that Jeff was very pleased with the amount of money that they were able to put together.
Wonderful run tournament, and they do a great job down there. And we had a great time, and looking forward to Marty's tournament, which will, of course, benefit the Reds Community Fund coming up on September the 15th.
It's just under a month from now. Rowan fouls it back in a full count.
Well, Homer Bailey's in the midst of pitching himself a mighty impressive ball game tonight, and despite the fact that he had more than enough rest, given that he only threw 12 pitches his last time out, you'd think he would be a little too strong tonight, but he's really staying within himself. Just he's pitching tonight, not throwing.
Hard to right, but playable for Dickerson. Gets all the excitement of Reds baseball in the Meyer family section here at Great American Ballpark. With no alcohol permitted and field level seating, it's the perfect place for your next family outing. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com. 2 men out for Uribe. Is the only real blemish on the outing thus far for Homer Bailey. Home run ball to center. Catches a breaking ball here. Gets under it and into shadow center. Phillips will give way to Taveras, and Willie makes the catch. There's the second 1-2-3 inning of this game, turned in by Bailey. SFN.com. Pick up a ballot at the ballpark, participating Skyline Chili, or Montgomery in location, or log on to Reds.com/Hall of Fame and vote today. 4-1 Reds, bottom of the 5th. Willie Taveras leads it off against Tim Lincecum, who is now set down 6 of the last 7 since starting the 3rd inning. You can go back 2 batters into that 4-run second. He's now retired 8 of the last 9. He only blemished the base hit by Hannigan. We haven't seen hair on a pitcher like that since what, Randy Johnson?
Or Bronson Arroyo.
In the air and to shallow left. Caught by Velez, 1 out. This appears to be a little stringier than Bronson's.
You know, I'm not quite an expert in that particular fashion category, Jim. I'll defer to your judgment on that.
Well, I'm not either, but remember the year that Johnny Damon had the long hair in the American League with Boston? Craig Wilson was copying that in the National League with Pittsburgh.
I would suspect that if Tim Lincecum pitched 17 starts here in Cincinnati,
right,
where a lot of the starts are going to be hot and humid like tonight, maybe that hair wouldn't be quite as long.
That's a good point right there.
You don't work up a lather here.
Votto, is he extending the lead? He is. A home run into the moon deck and right.
Reaches Tim Lincecum for a home run. 2 news flashes tonight. Number 1, Lincecum walked in a batter on 4 pitches straight. Another news flash, he gives up a home run. That is only the 7th home run that he has given up all year long, and Joey Votto parks one into the sun deck in right field and gives the Red back a 4-run lead. It's 5-1.
His 18th, his first since the 2nd of August against Colorado, 51 ABs ago, and you made a good point when you said that's only the 7th given up by Lincecum. He's very stingy in that area.
He is. He keeps the ball down, and of course we mentioned early, Jim, that AT&T Park out in San Francisco is a tough yard to hit homers in. That one was well struck by Joey Votto.
Uribe for the 2nd out. Well, San Francisco has been touched up a good amount for home run balls this year. That's the 95th they've been touched up for this year. Let me say that is when I say 95, that's on the low end of things. They've done a very good job in terms of home run ball. Here's Ballantine. Toward left. Velez going back. Track to the wall, and he makes the catch. Velez stayed right with it. Ballantine is gone. He's 1 for 3, but Joey Votto extends the Reds' lead with long ball number 18.
Skyline Chili. He's the Vice President of Marketing, and Skyline Chili, what more can you say? An institution in Cincinnati. And Skyline Chili celebrating their 60th anniversary. How cool is that?
Jim, we're real excited. We're real excited for really two reasons. We're going to celebrate with our owners and operators who just do a fantastic job every day, and we're also going to have fun with our consumers out there as well. So
some of your franchisees, owners are up here right now celebrating. What are you guys doing as an organization beyond tonight's events for the 60th anniversary?
We're going to give away what the consumers want. We're going to give away Skyline Chili, and next Monday, the 24th, we're going to start a contest online, and consumers are going to be able to win Skyline for Life.
Skyline for Life. What's the website?
SkylineForLife.com, and you have to come into the store, get a game piece, and we're excited to have that for the consumers to come in and get.
Oh, I wish I was eligible for that. All right, now speaking of giving away Skyline, you may be the most popular guy in the park tonight, because earlier on the scoreboard stumper, you have to guess which number of a pawn, I guess, is it's under, and you guessed the right one. So everyone gets 2 free conies going out of here tonight, right?
Yeah, we really wanted to celebrate with the Reds fans tonight. So in our 3rd inning shuffle that's been a tradition here, we ended up giving away 2 free cheese conies to all the fans here at the Reds game tonight. Just a good way to start off our celebration.
Everyone that lives in Cincinnati or the area knows all about Skyline, and everyone that used to live here, when they come back, they say, you know what, the first place I got to go is I got to go to Skyline. Now, how special is that to the Skyline people? I mean, it's everyone. It's universal.
We've got some loyal consumers out there. We've got a Facebook page that has consumers from all over the United States joining and just wanting to hear a little bit more about Skyline when they live in Colorado or California. It's a great loyal following we've got.
It really is, and I've talked to many military personnel that have come to the ballpark, and I always ask them, what do you miss the most about Cincinnati? And nearly all the time, first words out of their mouth, Skyline.
Skyline, it's a craving. People miss it, and I think it's just the experience in the store, plus the chili, and it's really a Cincinnati tradition.
Yeah, and speaking of Cincinnati traditions, when you think of Cincinnati, you think of the Cincinnati Reds, the professional baseball's oldest team. How important is it for the partnership with Skyline and the Cincinnati Reds?
Well, I got to tell you, Jim, not only the Reds, but FS Sports Ohio, you all do a great job, and we really appreciate our affiliation with you guys, and the Reds as well. We've been a part of the Reds now for 6 years. We got 5 stands here at the ballpark. People love the cheese coney during the game. And today we had lunch with Phil Castellini and his crew and just talked about how we can take these 2 Cincinnati icons and continue to grow them in the marketplace.
One of my favorite moments on this broadcast was when one of my fans from North Carolina came here. We treated him to some Skyline, and they were hooked. So what has been the success, the key to success? I mean, obviously the stuff tastes good, but to be able to be an institution, you have to be involved in the community in many, many ways.
We are, Jim, and if I could point to one thing, it's really our owners and operators out there every day. They have such a passion for Skyline Chili and just delivering a great experience for our consumers every day that they come into the store. And those guys are on the front line, and they do just a great job at the store and providing a Skyline experience for our consumers.
Speaking of loyalty, I had some Skyline yesterday. I am a cheese coney guy. It's a good thing that they usually serve them 3 at a time. So if they served them 6 at a time, I would probably get those. So we appreciate everything you do, and I know that the involvement with the Reds and Fox Sports Ohio goes a long way. We're proud to be associated with Skyline.
Thanks, Jim. We do too. We appreciate it.
All right. Hopefully we'll work on that. Jim and Chris Welsh will work on that lifetime plan for me as well. See if we can get that going.
Hey, well, Jim, why don't you just ask Alan to give you a couple of the ticket stubs tonight, and you can run by Skyline on the way home.
Well, actually, they're going to hand out coupons to the fans on the way out. It's not going to be a ticket voucher, so I'm out. Maybe I could get out of the suit here and sneak out like I'm a fan and get one of those coupons. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think you can get one for sure.
Rock and roll. I'll eat Skyline 2 days in a row. I'm in. Boys, back to you.
I don't think I've ever seen him smile as wide as when they said they were going to give away Skylines for life.
Well, food does it, and it makes that guy smile, too. Tim Flannery, they spent 5 days in New York, the Giants did. What's the first thing he did when they got up and went to lunch today? He said, take me to Skyline. I got to get some. And His kinfolks are from down in Kentucky, and I'll tell you what, he had to get that skyline fixed. Flannery did.
I'm surprised also that Roberto Kelly down at first base, having played here in Cincinnati for a few years, didn't run out to skyline as well.
Probably did. Let's hope that Flannery doesn't have much business to do this evening. Take the night off, Tim, third base coach.
Here's a look at the former Red. He's your old roommate down there at third, isn't he?
Yeah, he sure is. I could survive to be able to tell about it.
In this 5-1 game, the Giants have 2 on with 1 out. Pablo Sandoval at the plate. Benji Molina waiting on deck. Sandoval with 18 long ones. He's driven in 70. 0 for 2 tonight. Homer got that ball in on his fist, and he fouls it away.
You know, I can't see Roberto Kelly down at first base without telling a quick story that we were in when he was a member of the Reds. The Reds were in New York City playing at Shea Stadium, and he had one of the most vicious line drives straight back behind the screen. It came into the TV booth in one of those innings where Marty would come over for 3 innings and work with me on TV. And Marty leaned to get out of the way of it, and that ball had a direct hit right on the backside of his kidney. Knocked him off his chair. He was breathless. Joe Nuxall saw us from the booth next door, and he was laughing so hard that he couldn't continue his broadcast. I was laughing. So there was 2 or 3 minutes of dead air, and he got up. Marty was so angry that he couldn't understand while we were both laughing, of course. And Roberto Kelly was traded the next day for Deion Sanders.
You're implying that Marty went
Don't mess with Uncle Marty.
Yeah, don't mess with the Hall of Famer. That was before he was in the Hall of Fame.
Was.
He was on the ground, and you guys were laughing.
I never saw a guy try to catch a line drive with his kidney before. It can be done.
Even with that tan, I bet he was discolored.
Oh, yeah.
Big batter here for Homer Bailey, who has not walked anyone. He has struck out 3. He's given up 5 hits and a run. Pickoff play at second is close, but back out there is Velez. Velez drafted by Toronto, but always wanted to play as a Giant. He grew up down in the Dominican, about a 5-minute walk away from the Giants Dominican headquarters down there. Said he always wanted to play for the Giants, and now here he is doing a good job for them. Reds have turned to double play and would love another one here in the top of the 6th. Full count. Sandoval now 3 out of 14 against Reds pitching this year. Reds have done a good job in the double play department this year. The one they turned earlier, they're 113th of the year. That's 4th in the National League. Got him on strike.
Had a good at bat for Sandoval and a very persistent at bat for Homer Bailey. The youngster finally goes back to the fastball right here, probably a 2-seamer, and is able to get his man with that one. Nice action on it, keeps it on the outside part of the plate away from Sandoval's power, and that is a huge out right there in the middle of the order with a couple of runners on base.
But brings up Benji Molina. He's 0 for 1 with a walk in this game. That one is way outside for a ball. Mentioned earlier, he's the older of the 3 Molina brothers. Jose plays for the Cubs. Yadier in St. Louis. Benji having a very good year here in San Francisco. 96 on that one from Homer Bailey.
Yeah, you know, the really fast ones that he throws are probably four-seam fastballs, where he rears back and tries to add a little bit more to it. The ones that come in around 92 or so are more likely two-seamers that he hopes to get a little bit more running action, keep them down around the knees. He's staying in control tonight.
Just off the plate. Just misses outside, and the count now 3-1. Lincecum took a called third strike to start this inning. Velez singled to center. Renteria did the same, and then the big strikeout of Sandoval. Ball four, and the bases are loaded with 2 out. Let me stand corrected and say that Jose Molina plays for the Yankees. I said the Cubs.
It really doesn't matter who they play for. You're looking at a pretty good catching trio right here. Yadi Molina, who just celebrated his first All-Star game in his 6th season, doing a great job, obviously, with the Cardinals and Tony La Russa. Benji Molina, there were rumors a couple of years ago that the Reds were trying to get Benji Molina away from the San Francisco Giants, and Jose in his 10th year with the Giants, or with the New York Yankees.
Parents awfully proud right there, aren't they?
You bet.
So the bases are loaded with 2 out. The walk to Benji, the first issued by Homer in this game. He'll try to get Randy Winn here. Switch hitter batting from the left side. Hammers the first one fair down the right field line. Velez scores. Renteria coming home. Dickerson gets that ball in, and it's a 2-run game on a 2-run double by Randy Winn. Wynn's 29th double of the year.
Hey, he's got 45 runs batted in right now, and he figured on he getting the first pitch fastball from Homer Bailey, and Bailey gets it up. And Winn is a pretty good hitter of balls that are a little bit above his waist. He's an unusual kind of a left-handed hitter in as much as he handles that high pitch very well, as opposed to being a down and in wheelhouse lefty. But he rifles it down the right field line and drives a couple of runs in, 29 of them on the season for Winn, and that'll bring Dick Cole out of the dugout.
Quick visit to the mound by the Reds pitching coach as Homer gives up the double to Winn. Winn came into this game the 7th best hitter in terms of batting average with runners in scoring position at 348. He comes up with a big one right there to make it a 2-run game at 5-3 here in the top of the 6th.
Well, you got runners on at 2nd and 3rd right now, so it's imperative for Homer Bailey to try to get out of this mess. Nobody up and throwing in the Reds bullpen, but you might consider the fact that this is a hot, humid night here, and even though Bailey only has 83 pitches, this is the kind of night that can sap your strength.
He'll deal with Ryan Garco. Garco represents the go-ahead run. One thing that Homer's been able to do tonight, Chris, is throw strike one.
For the most part, he has. And I think that's one of the reasons why Randy Winn was up there hacking at that first pitch, because he's shown the ability to go right after the hitters this evening.
Good location and a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A lot of people say, hey, well, why would you go up there? A guy just walked the batter. Why would you swing at the first pitch? Well, sometimes that first pitch is the best pitch to hit. If you look at the batting averages against throughout all of Major League Baseball, hitting on an 0-0 count, usually well over 300.
You can't argue with what Winn did, doubling in a pair. Late on that fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, it'll be Ryan Hannigan and Homer Bailey right now, you're thinking, all right, I've just thrown a fastball, 2 of them really, right by Ryan Garco. He looked at one, and then he just swung on that one. It was real late on a low fastball. Do you want to speed his bat up by throwing a breaking ball right here? At least 1 for a strike. I think Garco, with the way he's got a pretty good eye at the plate, but still in all, you got to be able to expand the strike zone right here and make him try to chase until you at least even the count.
Up the middle, base hit. 1 run will score. Here comes a tying run to the plate. He will score. We are all even at 5 here in the top of the 6th on a 2-run single by Garco.
Well, really too good of a pitch here on a 1-2 count. He threw the fastball by him, but he goes right upstairs. And Ryan Garco, if you look at him, he's a big guy with short arms. And boy, you don't want to pitch those guys upstairs. He gets around on that fastball very quickly, and he rifles it right back up the middle. Didn't really expand the strike zone probably like he wanted to. Homer did, and it cost him at a big 4-run inning for the Giants to match the 4-run inning the Reds had back in the 2nd.
Dusty Baker not a happy man in that Reds dugout. The go-ahead run is aboard Garco. Aaron Rowand at the plate. He's 0 for 2. Rowand 2 out of 12 against Reds pitching this year. Well, he was an integral part of that 2005 Chicago White Sox championship team. Then went to Philadelphia, now with San Francisco. Really blossomed there with Chicago in the playoffs that year in 05. Now it's 2 balls and a strike. Homer had given up 3 hits through 5 innings. He's given up 4 hits in this inning. The Giants have now out-hit the Reds 7-6. Meanwhile, Lincecum minus the home run ball to Votto in the 5th has been solid the last 3 innings, and 4 of the 5 innings in this game, if you throw out the 2nd when the Reds scored their 4. Now Homer's fallen behind 3-1.
Boy, oh boy, I think that Hannigan wants to know where that one was. Homer wants to know where that one was, and so do I. Man, that looked like a pretty good pitch right there.
Reds have action in the bullpen. Lefty Daniel Ray Herrera. Righty Jared Burton. There's ball 4. Second walk of the inning. Here comes Dusty Baker. Homer Bailey has thrown his last pitch here in inning number 6. He was in the 2009 Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown, presented by Meyer and Dr. Pepper, August 27th, 28th, and 29th. For more information, go to absprepsports.com. And remember, the Showdown kicks off the high school football season on Fox Sports Ohio, August 27th at 5 p.m. with Dayton from Dayton Welcome Stadium. Here's Jared Burton into the game.
Jared Burton, 36 games for Jared Burton. He's been up and down from here to Louisville, and he's trying to get it together, throwing the ball a little better right now. They need to get him to get out of this inning. An inning that has completely exploded in benefit of the Giants and have seen 4 runs scored. And still a very dangerous high fastball hitting Juan Uribe at the plate.
Good location at the knees there and a strike. Burton worked on Sunday 1/3 of an inning. Faced 2 batters. And into the game here to face Uribe, trying to get the final out. 9th man to bat in this inning. To Yanish. Shuffled to the second baseman Phillips, and that does indeed end the top of the 6th. With a 4 spot for San Francisco. We are all even through 5½.
How long it takes Ryan Hannigan, or actually Homer Bailey, to release the ball and get it to home plate. This is what scouts use to judge how quick a pitcher can be. And then from the catcher to the second baseman. We'll show you that in just a second. But Homer Bailey, 1.5 seconds, is really on the slow side. You'd like to see that around 1.25 to 1.3 at the very most. But Ryan Hannigan makes up for lost time right there with a 1.9. And that 1.9 time from a catcher to a second baseman is better than the league average. In fact, it's better than the league average. And that's one reason why Ryan Hannigan is throwing out more than 45% of the runners this year. He gets it and gets rid of it as well as anybody in the league.
That's our Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Final line on Homer Bailey, 5 2/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, all of which were earned. He walked 3, struck out 4, gave up the home run ball. That was to Juan Uribe back in the 3rd. Cannot win, cannot lose. Rosales leading it off here in the Cincinnati 6th inning against Tim Lincecum, and he draws a walk on a 3-1 pitch to get it going. Third walk by Lincecum. One was an intentional pass. That was to Hannigan back in the 2nd. Reds get the leadoff man on and the go-ahead run on.
Oh, and you got a 5-run lead or 4-run lead like the Reds had until the last inning. You're thinking of playing a little add-on, maybe another big inning to put the Giants away. Now, Dusty Baker's probably going to play this like a 1-1 ball game. You got to play 1 run at a time and beat Lincecum at his own game, which is small ball. especially now that you're at the bottom part of the lineup.
Hannigan been on twice, drew that intentional walk, then the base hit to start the fourth. Reds getting their leadoff man on for the third time in 6 innings in this game. That dirty jersey of Adam Rosales over there at first base. He's working hard tonight.
Yeah, he's not comfortable until it gets dirty.
A la Ryan Friel.
Very much so.
1-1 to Hannigan. I guess you saw recently where Friel was designated for assignment. So look at our balls and strikes and the pitch total tonight for Lincecum.
Yeah, still the pitch total under control for Lincecum, less than 85, but he had a ball strike ratio much closer to even. He's thrown more strikes here in the last couple of innings since that second when the Reds scored 4. Hit and run on? Nope. You know, Lincecum is a guy that normally has a lot of strikeouts. I mean, he has struck out 7 batters in each of his last 2 ball games, including that one against the Reds out in San Francisco. Tonight he only has a couple of punch outs, so you're getting him on an off night. 205 strikeouts in 172 innings. That is an amazing statistic for anybody.
He's had 6 games this year which he's had at least 10 strikeouts. Runner going, and that ball hit towards second. Out. Wow, you talk about perfect timing for San Francisco. Uribe was going to the bag to cover, and that is exactly where Hannigan hit that ball. Turns into a 4-3 double play.
Well, it was a hit and run after all, and this is probably the Reds' best combination with Hannigan at the plate anyway, but he hits it right through the box, right to the bag, and Uribe's right there. It doesn't get a whole lot easier than that. Boy, you call the right play at the wrong time.
And win for losing right there, says Dusty Baker.
It's just simply bad luck.
One more note on Lincecum. He struck out a career best 15 on the 27th of July against Pittsburgh in a complete game victory, 4-2. 15 in that contest. 2 tonight. Line to third, and Sandoval on one hop gets it, fires it out in a 3-batter inning for Tim Lincecum, thanks to the double play. We are through 6, and we're even at 5. In this 5-5 game. Here's the first run being pushed across on the walk with the bases loaded to Giannis. Who can come up with their first hit? Homer Bailey. Led to Bruce Bochy's ejection in the bottom of inning number 2. Dickerson adding to the total, making it 4-0 in favor of the Reds after 2. Giants get on the board with this Uribe home run to center. Votto answers in the bottom of the 5th with number 18. Wynn makes it 5-3. And Ryan Garko makes it 5-5, and he was down 2 strikes right there. Chris talked about the location of that pitch to Ryan Garko, which led to the 5-5 tie. Our Chrysler game summary moves us into the top of the 7th inning. Jared Burton back out there, was able to retire the 1 batter he faced in the 6th, and now deals with a pinch hitter, Fred Lewis. So Lincecum is finished after 6 tonight. Over the head of the center fielder Tavares on the pinch hitter. Lewis's stroke into center, and that's going to be a pinch hit, 2-base hit. The Giants have the go-ahead run in scoring position.
I think that ball was completely misread off the bat by Willie Tavares in center field, and I think because it's such an easy stroke there by Fred Lewis. I mean, he looks like he just doesn't even swing at that ball, but that's a liner that goes over his head. Unless he's breaking right at the crack of the bat, you're not getting that one.
Lewis 6 out of 18 as a pinch hitter this year coming into this game. He adds to that good number with that two-base hit to start the 7th inning. Hit number 8 for San Francisco. The 19th double of the year for Lewis. And Eugenio Velez is at the plate. 3 home runs this year, 2 against Cincinnati out in San Francisco. Did it in back-to-back games. Friday the 7th, Saturday the 8th. Switch hitter hitting near 350 from this side of the plate, under 200 from the right side. Burton delivers ball 1. Velez so far in this game, a pair of hits, 2 out of 3. He now has 18 hits and 16 at bats against the Reds this year. Whistled foul, first base side. Colorado leads this Giants club in the NL wild card by a game, and they are leading tonight in the 8th against Washington. Florida has gotten themselves into the picture. They are 2-2 with Houston in the bottom of the 4th. San Francisco a game out. Florida 2 out behind that Rockies bunch. What a job Jim Tracy has done to turn around that Colorado team.
Yeah, they seemed like they were lost in the beginning of the year. They made the managerial change, and they're right back in the thick of it.
Runner's going to move up. Phillips to his right, nicely done. Gets up and throws Velez out at first. Fred Lewis does move over to third. He's 90 feet away with 1 out.
Saved the run right there with a very nice defensive play, did Brandon Phillips. Boy, you miss him when he's down the lineup.
Here's our Honda wild card standings look. There's the Rockies leading the Giants by 1 and the Florida Marlins by 2. Really, you count all the way down to the Cubs, only 4 back. Well, the Cubs start the day 6 back in the Central, 4 back in the wild card race.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy mentioning before the ball game how the Reds, tongue-in-cheek, could help the Giants this year by taking care of some business against teams like the Rockies. You saw the Cubs on that leaderboard as well. The Milwaukee Brewers sneaking up. Of course, the Reds also have a home series awaiting them at some point later in the year with the Los Angeles Dodgers. So a lot of those teams are, you know, they're going to mean something when the Reds play them.
Back-to-back teams that come in on this homestand have made managerial changes, and both have done much better since they made the change. Washington with Riggleman. Here's a ground ball hard hit to short. Look the runner back and get the out at first. And that Colorado team. I said back-to-back teams coming in. We talked about these two teams. The Nationals making the change and doing better, and that Rockies team doing very, very well. So 2 out and the runner at third for Pablo Sandoval. Hot, humid day has turned into a very beautiful night here in the Queen City. Game is tied at 5. We're in the 7th. Homer Bailey 5 2/3, 5 runs, 7 hits as his final line. Walked 3, struck out 4, and gave up the home run ball.
You know, they played 9 innings, Jim, but I tell you, he threw the ball so much better tonight. I mean, there are much better days ahead for Homer Bailey based on what I saw tonight. The line doesn't look good. This overall score doesn't look good. I mean, you get 5 runs off Tim Lincecum, you better win the ball game. But he threw the ball, in my estimation, very well tonight.
Minus that start he made in St. Louis when that line drive by Pujols went off his foot. He's now given up 5 runs in 3 straight starts.
It seems to be one inning that does him in, and that's the weird thing. You know, you wonder down the line exactly what it's going to take for him to be able to carry that mental toughness, you know, through 7 or 8 frames instead of giving it up in 1 inning and then getting it back the next. Hey, Reds fans, for great tasting quality meals for your family, pick up bags of JTM beef or chicken Philly cheesesteaks from your favorite grocer. JTM Food Family Fun.
Giants have the go-ahead run in the person of Fred Lewis, who had a pinch hit double to start this inning at third with 2 out. Just off the plate of ball. Tim Lincecum struck out 2 in this game tonight. That is a season low for him. He fanned 4 at Florida on the 7th of June. That had been his season low. He strikes out only 2 tonight. Came into the game with 205 strikeouts, the best in the National League. Hannigan does a good job to keep that ball where he can get to it and keep an eye on Fred Lewis. Distraction down there at third by Lewis. Burton stepped off.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Rosales is way away from the bag, maybe trying to trick the pitcher into a balk.
He got him. Sandoval, nothing out of 4 with 3 strikeouts tonight. And it's Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by your local Ford dealer and the Ford F-150 2009 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. And by your Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com for current offers. Beautiful night here in Cincinnati. Game is tied at 5. Reds had the early advantage of 4-0 and 5-1. Now we're even at 5 as Johnny Gomes walks to the plate to face a new San Francisco pitcher, the former Red Jeremy Affeldt.
Yeah, he ought to be familiar with a lot of Reds fans because he was here in Cincinnati. Jeremy Affeldt was signed on to be a starter with the Reds. That did not work out for him. He was a very good left-handed reliever out of the pen. And the Giants have picked him up, and they have used him just right with a 1.87 earned run average. When Affeldt gets his stuff over the plate, you saw he's got a lot of walks, but when he gets his stuff over the plate, he's got as good a stuff as any left-hander around.
Turned 30 earlier this summer. Last year, a 3.33 ERA for the Reds in 74 games. He brings that one in there at 95 miles an hour and gets a strike to Gomes. Struck out 80 in 78 and a third innings a year ago. This year he has struck out 35 in 43 and a third. Gomes tips it foul. Affeldt 1.87 ERA. Johnny Gomes, of course, had 4 home run balls in that Washington series, including 3 of them on Thursday night. Breaking ball, and Gomes is rung up to start the bottom of the 7th inning. That's a nasty break there from Affeldt.
Well, not always a great matchup with Jeremy Affeldt, whether you're right-handed or left-handed. Gomes looking for something to drive. Affeldt goes to the little backdoor curveball on him, and it looks like a ball coming in there until the last second, and Gomes knows it. Neither of those batting average, nothing to brag about right there. If you're a hitter, 230 or versus lefties, 190 versus righties.
Dickerson up there. He's 1 out of 3. Dickerson has held his own against lefties this year, hitting .257 against them. Towards center and caught by Aaron Rowan. 2 out. Reds fans, the party this season is in the Kroger bleachers, located under the main scoreboard in left field. The Kroger bleachers are the place to enjoy all the Reds action. Ticket prices start at just $7, and for additional savings, plan a group outing of 25 or more. Get your tickets by calling 381-REDS or go to reds.com. Two out for Willie Taveras. Willie tonight hitless. He's nothing out of 3. Now he's at 1 ball and 1 strike. 4 out of 12 during the homestand for Taveras. Modest hitting streak coming into this game of 4. Bunt, foul.
Good idea right there. Even though Sandoval was playing in close, trying to take the bunt away from him, we still have not seen Sandoval make a slow roller play like that. I don't know how fleet of foot he is or how good he is at making that slow roller play. If Willie gets this just a couple of feet fair, he's got a chance of getting a base hit right there.
Chris, the Baseball America tools issue just came out where major league managers vote on any number of different topics about players in the game, and Willie Taveras was voted as being the 2nd best bunter in the major leagues behind Juan Pierre.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I believe he doesn't use it enough. But he is a very good bunter, no doubt about it.
Toward the mound and fielded by Affeldt. He's going to run it to first, and for some reason Taveras elected not to run hard toward first base. He's out. The Reds go in order. The fans were not happy. Ball hit by Taveras right back to the mound. It looks like he just hobbles right there. You can see him grimace a little bit as he hobbles down toward first.
I don't know if that's a leg injury or maybe a back injury. It's kind of a strange thing. I mean, I don't think he would have been able to beat that ball out either way, but obviously something's wrong with Willie Taveras. He's exited the ball game. Willie is in the clubhouse, and Chris Dickerson will take over in center field. Lance Nix goes to right.
Nix takes over in right. He will bat out of the 9 spot. New pitcher on for the Reds. Their third of the night is Nick Massett. Massett will bat out of the number 2 spot.
Well, probably the way that Dusty Baker had anticipated this game would go. Get Homer Bailey into about the 7th inning, then maybe bring in Massett in the 8th and Cordero in the 9th, although he did not figure that the Giants would come back and score a 4 spot in the 6th.
Benji Molina leads it off. Votto chasing this foul and out of play. We get any report on Willie Taveras, we will certainly pass that along. Fans booed him running down to first because it appeared there that he wasn't hustling. We could see a grimace on his face as you showed that on a replay. Nice breaking ball from Massett. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. 48th appearance for Massett, 4-1, 2.92 ERA. Look at what Benji has done tonight. Scored a run, been on twice, struck out once. The Reds bullpen has been very good this year. Let's hope they continue that trend here tonight. They've allowed the fewest runs from the 7th inning on this season, only 137. Back this way and out of play.
Now, Jim, want to send our hearty congratulations along to an old Reds fan and a guy that actually helped me out quite a bit, George Grant, too. Hired George Grant and myself back when Channel 5 telecast the games, and Bill Spiegel this year was selected to be a memorial honoree of Clovernook Country Club. 31 years over at the club, and congratulations to Uncle Bill. We're going to have a plaque with his likeness on it, and we want to shout out to him and tell him hearty congratulations.
Molina takes a strike. He is rung up. What do you know? Brought to you by Radio Shack. Our What Do You Know tonight? Dusty Baker has used 97 different lineups in 118 games this year for the Reds. Some experimental, some certainly due to injury. 97 different lineups, 118 games. What do you know by Radio Shack? Where are the days when you used to write that same old lineup in every day, Chris?
Well, back in the Sparky Anderson days, you mean?
When everybody could tell you the lineup, not only for the Reds, but for the other teams that would come in.
Absolutely. And, you know, as a youngster, I still know the lineup.
Sure.
I think everybody who watched the Big Red Machine, of course, rarely nowadays that ever happens. More and more managers go to the platoon system, have different guys coming in and out. Even the big market teams, they go out and sign, you know, huge free agent signings, and they still use a variety of managing and lineups.
Those World Championship pennants for Cincinnati. Facing of the ballpark. Toward the middle of the diamond, Giannis is there, and there are 2 out. Good opportunity, isn't it, between now and the rest of the year for that young man, Paul Giannis, to see what he can do at short.
This is what you dream about. When you're a young player, you come up as a reserve, a backup guy. You know that you're going to be on the bench when Alex Gonzalez is healthy to play shortstop. But now that he's gone and traded, you know, here's your shot. And here's your shot for Paul Giannis to either try to establish him in the minds of Walt Jocketty and the rest of the decision makers as either a major league starter or a major league reserve player. I mean, you've got to hold yourself accountable to only yourself out there. This is all you need to ask when you get to the big leagues, is a chance to play, and Paul's getting that.
Pretty good fielding percentage, as you can see right there in the games that he has played this year for Dusty Baker's team. And when we talk about him at short, I guess you can really say, because of the injury to Hernandez, the same could be said for Ryan Hannigan behind the plate.
You're exactly right about that. I think that he's availed himself very well. Hannigan has, defensively especially. I mean, he's hitting well, hasn't driven in very many runs, but his on-base percentage is good, and he served a nice purpose down at the bottom of the order. But as far as shutting the running game down and handling pitching, done a great job. Giannis, I don't think anybody ever complains about his defense. The question is whether he'll hit enough to be an everyday shortstop. And he's got a chance to show that now. It's a little different than being called up in September and maybe getting 2 weeks worth of looks, because that can really be that can fool you, just the same way the month of March can fool you with a guy in spring training. But if you get this much time for Giannis, you'll have a pretty good gauge.
In the air to center, Dickerson, his first chance out there, makes the catch, and a nice job in the 8th done by Nick Massett. Nice to push a run across coming up here in the bottom of the 8th. inning, performed by Phillips on the ball hit by Eugenio Velez.
Well, in a tie ball game, a play like this saves the run. The runner at third base would have, runner at second certainly would have scored on that, but Phillips saves it with another defensive daring do. A nice job by Brandon Phillips. And what else do you expect from the Gold Glover?
Our John Morrell hot dog play of the game. Joey Votto in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jeremy Affeld, quick and efficient 7th, back out there in inning number 8. His spot due up third in the 9th. Speaking of Affeld, Votto homered his last time, 1 out of 3. That ball slices foul and out of play. Joey starts the game at 318. He's hit 6 home runs against lefties this year, and his average against lefties over the 300 mark. Trying to get the leadoff man on in this inning. They put the leadoff man on in the 2nd when they scored 4 times, in the 4th, and in the 6th. Joey has gone to that old Cincinnati Reds leg look with his red socks. He and Adam Rosales. There's a look at it. How the Reds do it in the minor leagues at all levels.
I'll tell you, I kind of like that look. You know, the other thing it does, and we used to tell Adam Dunn this all the time, is that it gives the umpire a better perspective of where the bottom end of the strike zone is, which is the hollow of the knees. Adam Dunn used to get called out on pitches that were down around the shins. That, you know, shin high for him or knee high for him is about waist high to a lot of people. Tough pitch.
4 faced, 4 retired by Affeld. He gets the out on a strikeout here in the 8th.
Well, anybody who watched Jeremy Affeld pitch while he was a Red, and he was a Red in just last year, 74 ball games, and he struck out 80 batters in 78 innings, and he's doing the same kind of job for the Giants this year.
Leadoff man gone for Brandon Phillips.
Well, Ron Wotus is coming out, it looks like, and Ron is the bench coach who is now acting as the manager in the absence of Bruce Bochy, who got thrown out of the ball game earlier. Wotus was also the bench coach under Dusty Baker, and a very, very fine baseball man he is. It looks like they're going to make a pitching change. Affeld gone, and they're going to the bullpen.
Then on Friday, the Titans battled Tony Romo and the Cowboys. Both games started 8 in high def only on Fox. Speaking of Romo, Sergio Romo into the game for the San Francisco Giants, becomes their third pitcher of the night.
Just a second-year major leaguer. Was 3-1 with the Giants last year in 29 appearances. This is 27th of the season.
Romo missed the first 2 months of this year with an elbow strain. Gets ahead of Phillips, strike one. Three and two, a 5.40 ERA, 27th appearance for Romo. Here's Phillips, 1 out of 3. Now he's down 2 strikes to nothing.
Looks like Brandon Phillips trying to separate the score right there with that swing.
Phillips 2 for 2 in his career against Romo. Singled, scored in that 4-run second inning. In fact, he was the first run of the game produced on the bases loaded walk by Lincecum to Janisch. Flied out in the third, grounded out in the fifth. Again, he missed that Sunday game after being hit by a pitch in the left wrist on Saturday. X-rays were negative. Drew Sutton started that game at second base, and of course it was Sutton's play late in that game in the 8th on that lob throw in from right, which allowed Josh Willingham to score what turned out to be the winning run. To his credit, he took all the blame for that. Got him for the first time after being 2 for 2 against Romo. Phillips strikes out. Great American Ballpark is the perfect place to kick off your weekends. Friday, August 28th. Enjoy a spectacular post-game fireworks display after the Reds-Rockies game presented by Assurant Health. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to Reds.com. So a strikeout of Votto by Affeld and a strikeout of Phillips by Romo. Now it's Vladimir Valentin. Another guy, Chris, like Hannigan behind the plate, like Janisch at short, that should get a good long look these final 6 weeks.
There's no doubt about it. They like his power. He has shown immense power going the other way to right center field. If he could time one of those little slurvy sliders that Romo dishes up there, he can make a difference.
There's another one as we speak. 0-2. California native, Arizona resident Sergio Romo, 28th round pick by the Giants back in 05. Big league debut came last year. One ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's one of those fastballs that's all for show, and that's what he likes to do, Romo. A typical right-hander that comes in, shows you the fastball, and then tries to get you to dip away from the breaking ball. Fastball away.
Pass along a update on Willie Taveras here in a moment. After this 1-2 pitch to Valentin. Got it.
A beauty.
He'll pass that along in the 9th inning. Valentin rung up, 3 strikeouts in the frame. Through 8, we're tied at 5. Check out MLB.tv. Log on to the internet. Watch every out-of-market Reds game live. For more details, visit Reds.com, where baseball is always on. Interested fans maybe came out to watch Tim Lincecum pitch tonight. 13,334. Paid crowd on this Tuesday evening. Game is tied 5-5. We're into the ninth. A couple of 4-run frames in this, one on each side. The Reds 4 in the second, the Giants 4 in the sixth. And we play to the ninth. Aaron Rowan leads it off against Nick Massett. A 1-2-3-8 for Massett. Back out there in the ninth inning. Rowan, Uribe, and then the pitcher spot for San Francisco. Five 8-0 San Francisco, 5-6-0 Reds, with Giants having left on 4, the Reds 3. Good breaking ball, strike 2.
Boy, he's got a good curveball, Nick Massett. That was one of the intriguing things about Massett and trying to make him a starter. Started a lot of games in the minor leagues, like over 120 total. And thought that coming into camp, spring training that is, he might be a starter.
Chance for Yelich. 1 out. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot, $170 million. Needless to say, buy your ticket today. $170 million, the Mega Million jackpot. All of a sudden, the booth is empty. Chris, when you look back at last year when the Reds traded away Ken Griffey Jr. and Adam Dunn, Nick Massett by far has been the best player that they've gotten out of that deal.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And you have to really commend the Reds management to be able to pull a player of the quality of Massett from a deal where you're really just trying to move some players along.
Uribe up there now. Nate Shearholtz on deck. He would pinch hit for Romo. Jared Burton, an inning and a third of no-run, 1-hit relief. Massett, an inning and a third thus far. Uribe's homer in the third got the Giants on the scoreboard. Check swing strike, says home plate umpire James Hoy.
Pretty good fastball at 94 by the radar gun here at the ballpark. Dangerous place to pitch Uribe, though, is up.
That one was down, and he lines it foul, first base side. 2-2. That had hoped Uribe there would offer at that breaking ball. He did not. The count is full. And ball 4, and so a 1-out walk issued by Massett puts the go-ahead run on here in the ninth. 4th walk issued by Reds pitching, the first 3 by the starter Homer Bailey. And Nate Shearholtz to the plate. Francisco Cordero gets up. Pardon me, Arthur Rhodes, lefty. Arthur Rhodes in the bullpen. Here comes Dusty. Nate Shearholtz is the man at the plate right now. Great left-handed hitter. Dusty will bring in Arthur Rhodes, and Shearholtz may not get a chance to bat. Giants have put the go-ahead run on with 1 out. They've announced Nate Shearholtz as the pinch hitter, and so he will face the lefty, Arthur Rhodes.
Well, you see the numbers on Arthur Rhodes, left-handers versus right-handers. He is exceptionally good against lefties with a 127 batting average, but it'll be a challenge for him because the left-handed batter that the Giants are sending to the plate is very good against lefties himself. In fact, Nate Shearholtz, if you look at the splits on him, he is batting way higher against lefties than he is against righties. How about a 441 batting average for Shearholtz against lefties?
Well, he's hitting 296 overall, but here's another impressive number for him. 13 for 30 as a pinch hitter.
Well, he nearly hit a grand slam pinch hit the other day in the Giants win against the New York Mets. Missed the grand slam by a foot, ended up getting a double.
Here he is against Arthur Rhodes, and the first one a strike. Rhodes was brought in on Sunday to face Adam Dunn in the 8th inning. On the first pitch, just clipped his jersey, and it was Rhodes who ended up giving up that base hit to the pinch hitter Zimmerman when the 2 runs scored in the top of the 8th, giving the Nationals the victory. Arthur Rhodes has been around a long time, but the Giants are one of the teams that he has not worked for. Strike, no balls, and 2 strikes to Shearholtz. Top of the order featuring a Eugenio Velez on deck. Got it.
Well, ever since that first pitch breaking ball, Shearholtz, it looked like, was looking for another breaking ball. He certainly thought this one was going to be one. A day late on a fastball that he swings way underneath. Good bit of pitching by Arthur Rhodes.
So he gets Shearholtz, and now we'll deal with Velez, a switch hitter, who will turn around and bat from the right side, where he is under 200 at the start of the day at 188. There's singles for him tonight, and a run scored back in that 4-run 6th.
Might want to watch for the bunt.
Uribe with a lead at first, and ball 1 low. Reds let a 5-1 lead slip away after 5, and we're at 5-5 now here in the top of the 9th. Two balls and no strikes. One out walk to Uribe. That was issued by Massett. Then the pitching change with Rhodes coming on. Got the job done against the pinch hitter Shearholtz. Now dealing with Velez, the 27-year-old. Made the Giants out of the spring. Up and down a couple of times with their AAA club at Fresno. Jumps on that one, fouls it, 2-1. It's low, and now it's fallen behind 3 balls and 1 strike. Edgar Renteria is on deck. Ball 4. So 2 walks in this inning have given the Giants an opportunity. One by Massett, now one by Rhodes. The batter will be Edgar Renteria.
Now, not great speed at second base, but with 2 out, you got to figure that Uribe is going to have a pretty good chance of scoring, depending on how hard that Renteria might get a base hit. You know he likes to slash the ball to the right side. Joey Votto way off the bag at first base.
1 for 4 in this game. He takes ball 1 inside. Renteria 0 for 1 lifetime against Rhodes. Boy, 2 guys that have been around this game a long time. It's amazing that he's only faced him 1 time. Chased one around the shoulders and pops it up to third. And caught over there by Rosales. So they get around the walks with the pop-up. Bottom of the 9th, a run will win it. We're tied at 5. Was brought to you by the Ray Hamilton Company, Cincinnati's office movers, keeping businesses on the move. This crowd would love nothing more right now than to see the Reds push a run across in the bottom of the 9th inning. Get the first game of this series against the Giants. They took 2 out of 3 out there 9 days ago. And if they're to do it in the 9th, they'll do it at least at the get-go against Bob Howry.
Bobby Howry's got a pretty good season going despite the 0-5 record. An earned run average is very respectable. He throws strikes. As you see, he's walked only 12 in 45 innings. Of course, you get deeper and deeper into the bullpens, and you're going to find better and better pitchers as both teams are now going to go to their short men.
Howry in the bottom of the 9th inning will face Rosales, Hannigan, and Yanish.
When you're at home and have Dusty Baker's advantage of being the home team manager, you don't have to go to your closer, and because there is no save situation once you get to the 9th inning and beyond. And when you're the visiting Giants, you've got to hold that closer back, and that's what they've done so far with Brian Wilson.
In there at 92, a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. These 3 games against the Giants give us the same pitching matchups as we saw out in San Francisco. It'll be Bronson Arroyo and Barry Zito tomorrow. Aaron Harang and Matt Cain Thursday afternoon. Two balls and 1 strike. that first game that these two played out in San Francisco, the game was 5-5 into the ninth inning. The Reds scored 5 runs in the ninth to win that game 10-5. They're 5-5 in the bottom of the ninth tonight. Gonzalez got under that ball, stays alive with a foul. Adam tonight 0 for 2 with a walk.
Now, we showed you a stat at the very beginning of this ball game that indicated that the Giants have the best pitching staff in the National League. They are #1 in starters earned run average and #1 in relievers earned run average.
The third, Sandoval guarding the line, and he makes the play and throws Rosales out at first. One out for Hannigan.
You just look at the stuff that Ron Wotus, now the acting manager of the Giants, has brought in tonight after Tim Lincecum leaves. I mean, you think, well, Lincecum, how much better can the stuff be than him when you get him out of the ball game? Well, Romo was very good, with up at 94 with a fastball with a sidearm slurvy thing, and Bobby Howry comes in here throwing just like Jeremy Effeld, mid-90s with a hard breaking ball. Brian Wilson can go even harder than that, like up around 100. Very talented bullpen full of very powerful arms.
Hannigan tonight been on twice. He had a hit through the intentional walk. Throughout the runner, Wynn attempting to steal in the fourth. That one is low, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, not to leave the Reds out of the equation either. The Reds this year in earned run average out of the bullpen. Their relievers are 3rd best in the league, behind the Giants and the Dodgers. 2 ballparks in which very conducive to pitching. So that says a lot for this Reds pitching staff, that they've got relievers that have turned in such a good job. Their overall earned run average around 3.5.
Trying to get it done against Howry. Hannigan gets it in the air. Shallow right. Uribe out, Wynn in, and it's Uribe. 2 gone. The batter will be Paul Janisch. Hannigan, 1 out of 3. Boy, Dusty would love to get Janisch on here and bring Nix to the plate with a chance. All hitless in this game tonight, but with that bases loaded walk and the RBI. 1 out of 9 during the homestand. Bobby Howry, longtime White Sox pitcher, late 90s, early 2000s. A couple of years in Boston and Cleveland, then pitched for the Cubs most recently prior to this year. He's had 4 consecutive years of 70+ appearances, with a big one, 84 appearances in 2006. Career big league ERA of right around 3.5. 2 balls, 1 strike. Nix, who came on when Taveras left the game, and the update on Willie from earlier, a mild strain of his right quad. He left the game after bouncing out to the mound in the bottom of the 7th. In the air to right, but playable. We will go to extra innings in the first game of this series. The Reds and the Giants from Cincinnati, all tied at 5.
Baker has the advantage of being able to go to his best reliever down there in Francisco Cordero. The numbers bear that out with a 1.7 earned run average. In 46 innings, he has been superlative in the save department. This is not one of those categories tonight, though. 25 of 26. And Francisco will face this middle of the lineup.
Cordero comes on to try to do what Howry did in the 9th inning, bottom half, and that is have a 1-2-3 frame and give his team a chance in the bottom of the 10th. Sandoval, Molina, Wynn. 3, 4, 5 in the Giants order. Sandoval, nothing out of 4. Reaches for that one, fouls it back, strike 1. He's fanned 3 times in this game, Pablo Sandoval. Really, which for him is very atypical. He's only struck out 63 times, 426 at bats this year, 3 times tonight. In the hole by the diving Rosales, base hit the other way. Go ahead, run on.
Most scouts and batters now around the league pretty much know what the strategy of Francisco Cordero is when he comes into a ball game, which is pitch away from the power hitters. And if you're a power hitter that wants to get a base hit, you do what Pablo Sandoval does, which is take what he will give, which is a base hit to left field. In the big scheme of things, it's better than trying to jam him with a fastball, missing your spot, and have him unjam you over the fence.
Sandoval only 23, first full year in the big leagues. Had a heck of a year. He's the go-ahead run on at first. Benji Molina at the plate now. Been on twice, both via the walk. Cordero gets ahead. Cordero last worked on Friday. Here's Molina's numbers against Cordero. 4 out of 12. Chased a bad ball there, and he's in the hole, 2 strikes. He had a 1-2-3 ninth on Friday, his last time out. Misses upstairs. The Reds have used Bailey, 5 2/3, 5 runs, 7 hits. Jared Burton, 1 1/3, no runs, 1 hit. Nick Massett, 1 1/3, no runs, no hits. And Arthur Rhodes, 2/3 of an inning, a walk and a strikeout. Now Cordero misses low and away, and he's at 2-2. Reds are 4 and 5 in extra inning games this year. The Giants 7 and 4. Blew it by him. Got him on strikes.
Now 3 strikeouts in the game for Benji Molina, and he just gets overpowered by this fastball set up by a nice slider a couple of pitches before. Francisco reaching back for a little extra gas tonight after having a few days off.
Well, the strikeout numbers on the year for Cordero, 46 in the 3rd innings. He's fanned 37. Opponents hitting .215 against him, and he gets one here for out number 1. The batter, Randy Wynn. 1 on, 1 out. Double play in order. The Reds can get the ground ball. Two-run double by Randy Wynn back in that 6th inning. The first of back-to-back 2-run hits by the Giants. Wynn and then Ryan Garco coming against Homer Bailey. That tied the game. Reds last played extra innings on the 2nd of this month. They went 11 here against Colorado, lost 6-4. Although we won no part of it, their longest extra inning game of the year was that 16-inning affair at San Diego, the 16th of May. just low. 1-1. Cordero, a win, 2 losses, and a 1.33 ERA this year in 20 games in which he has entered the game in a non-save situation this season.
You know, that stat holds up pretty well when you send a guy in to get some work, because he hasn't been in 4 or 5 days. You're in a blowout game one way or the other. You send your closer in to get some work, and sometimes they just don't have that adrenaline pumping. But this, even though it is technically not a save situation, is still the same type of adrenaline pumping contest that he's in. I mean, it's tight right now, and he's throwing the ball very well.
He gave up the base hit to Sandoval to left. Blew it by Benjamin Molino for out number 1. Works on Randy Wynn now with Ryan Garco on deck. 10th inning of a 5-5 game. Boy, wasn't that one close. Here's a look. Hannigan held it there for James Hoy to get a good long look at it. Long foul into the upper deck. 2-2 to Randy Wynn. Two homers this year for Wynn, both from the left side. Moves him off the plate and a full count. Giants won extra innings in their series in New York. They went 10 in a 5-4 victory. That was Saturday. Lost the first game of that series, won games 2 and 4. Runner goes, foul out of play.
Randy Wynn of the 3rd year of a big contract that he signed back in 2007. He makes him actually the 3rd highest payer on this Giants team.
He's trying to get it done here against Cordero in the top of the 10th. Quick to first. Just getting a hand back in there is Sandoval.
Boy, and Sandoval's probably asking himself, how did I get back that quickly? He's thinking about getting a good start there on that one and barely gets his hand in time.
Pretty quick move there by Francisco. Again, he didn't get nearly as far off the bag this time.
He did not, and Joey Votto actually a little closer to the bag that time too. Makes the tag easier from a right-handed thrower.
Runner going. Ball 4. Hit a strikeout and a walk here in the 10th inning. Sandoval now the go-ahead run down at second base. Ryan Garco, right-handed hitter, will come up there. Double play in order if the Reds can get it. They've turned 1 tonight. That was hit into by Garco back in the 2nd inning. 2-run single in the 6th. He's 1 out of 4. 6 RBIs now for Garco as a member of the Giants. And this is 18th game with him since the trade in late July from Cleveland. And he takes a strike. Center field, chased by Dickerson. He's not going to get it. Sandoval comes home. Wind being waved around. He will score. 2-run double. Ryan Garko. 4 RBIs on the night. And he has doubled his RBI total with the Giants in this game tonight against the Reds.
Now, he showed everybody who cared to watch earlier in the ball game better not pitch him upstairs because he loves it up around the letters. He ripped one off a changeup that looked like from Homer Bailey earlier. That time a fastball at 94 laced into the left center field gap will score 2 of them, and the Giants have taken a 7-5 lead.
That's the first double and only the second extra base hit by Garko as a Giant in the 3 weeks he's been with them. Bruce Bochy's club, and couldn't come at a better time. They are behind Colorado by a game and ahead of Florida by a game in the wild card race. We'll check on those scores and let you know what's happening with them. The Reds now will face at least a 7-5 deficit in the bottom of the 10th. The Giants have scored 6 unanswered. Shot to left by Rowan to hit. Garko moves to third. So Cordero has been touched up for 3 hits here in the top of the 10th. Reds get action in their bullpen via the lefty Daniel Ray Herrera.
I'm not sure, but if you're Dusty Baker, at what point do you go out there and get your closer out unless he's injured? I mean, he has faced 5 batters and 4 of them have reached base.
Dick Pole out of the dugout.
Well, I thought from just watching Cordero in the first couple of batters, as hard as he was throwing and the way it looked like he was spotting his breaking ball, that the Giants would have a very tough time with him. Just goes to show you get a couple of pitches up in the zone to the middle of the order and they're going to tattoo you.
And he got ahead of Wynn.
Yes, he did.
And lost him.
Well, Wynn worked the count pretty well. He fouled off some tough pitches, but still he did lose him and got a pitch up to Garko, and that's the one that really hurt him the most.
Well, Uribe is the batter now, is 1 out of 3. Homered back in the 3rd. The damage done here in the 10th inning. A double by Garko. Scores Sandoval, who singled to start the inning, and Wynn, who had walked. Here's Uribe. That one misses inside for a ball. Ball 1. Ball 2. Rockies have won tonight 4-3 against the Nationals. The Marlins, they're in the 8th inning in Houston, leading 6-2, and the Giants are leading. So all 3 teams atop the National League wild card hunt. Colorado first, Giants second, Florida third, are all either having one or lead. Left center field on the bat of Uribe. Dickerson handles it. Runner will tag and score. Then a 3-run 10th on the sac fly off the bat of Uribe. And it's now 8-5 Giants. The Giants now will employ a pinch hitter. Travis Ishikawa will come up. Here comes Dusty Baker. Ishikawa, the left-handed hitter. Daniel Ray Herrera has been throwing in the bullpen, and Dusty has given the sign that Francisco Cordero's night is finished. So Herrera will come on. We pause here in the middle of the 10th of the Giants. 7 straight runs and now lead 8-5 here in the top of the 10th inning. And a new pitcher will be into the game. It's the lefty, Daniel Ray Herrera.
He didn't think he'd get any action tonight, not after Francisco Cordero came in, at least not partial inning action. But the Giants have had big innings tonight, 4 in the 6th, 3 now in the 10th, and Daniel Ray Herrera will try to get out of the mess created by Francisco Cordero.
2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 3 runs thus far, a walk, a strikeout. Mentioned earlier, Cordero, a 1.33 ERA this year in games in which he came in a non-save situation. Tonight, not one of those good nights. So it's a lefty-lefty matchup here. Herrera against Ishikawa. Comes into the game hitting .261 with 8 home runs, 31 runs batted in, and 2 out of 7 as a pinch hitter. Against the Reds this year, nothing out of 3. (8-5) Giants, 10th inning. This is the kind of baseball, though, Chris, a team plays. They're right in the hunt, really, in the West and in the wild card. They're down 5-1, but did not roll over in the first game of the series.
Yeah, you're right about that, because they probably thought they had a little payback to give the Reds, given the fact that the Reds took 2 out of 3 from them, and they took 2 out of the 3 games in which their best pitcher started for the Giants, and Lincecum and Matt Cain. Of course, you'll see Matt Cain in this series as well. The Giants are embarking now on the second leg of a long road trip. They've got an 11-game road trip. They played 4 in New York. They split there. They really were disappointed about splitting that series. They thought they would have won at least 3 out of 4 in New York, and now they wanted to make some business in Cincinnati, and the Reds had them down where they needed them and have let them come back.
They'll play here through Thursday, then head west to Colorado. So they went across the country to New York, and now they're making their way back home. They play again at home on the 25th against Arizona. They entered this game, talking about the Giants, with the same road record as the Reds. 25 up, 34 down. Trying to keep pace with the victorious Colorado Rockies team in the wild card race earlier tonight.
I spent 5 days in New York City. Not only will that wear you out, you'll go through your meal money in the first stop.
They're going to be looking for a lot of those Skyline chili dogs tonight.
You better believe it.
And for 3 days, runner going in the air down the left field line. Ballantine runs out of room. But they've got stories to tell, probably.
Or ones they don't want to tell.
Rosales not in the left field, where Ballantine will get it back in.
Pretty good looking at bat right there by Travis Ishikawa. That ball just going to left field the entire way, knowing after taking the first couple of pitches from Daniel Ray Herrera, he's going to try to get you out going outside. Whether it's a breaking ball, a cutter, or a fastball, he's going to try to go outside, probably to finish it all off. And he got that pitch up around waist high, and Ishikawa takes what he gives him, and it's a line drive to left.
Well, he's 3 out of 8 as a pinch hitter this year. Boy, you take a look at their pinch hitting numbers. Earlier, Fred Lewis, 6 out of 18, had a hit. Shearholtz was retired. He was 13 out of 30. And now with that base hit, Ishikawa, 3 out of 8 coming off the bench. And Eugenio Velez is now the 8th man to bat here in the 10th inning. Reds in the bottom half. We'll have Nix, then the top of the order, Dickerson, and then a pinch hitter for Herrera. One of those big breaking balls. It's a strike. 0-2. Just foul. Mentioned tomorrow night's game, Bronson Arroyo against Barry Zito. That was the game in San Francisco in which the Giants won 4-2. Arroyo pitched pretty well, as did Zito. Reds committed 3 errors in that game. Bronson coming off an extraordinary outing in the first game of that series against Washington. Got him on a fastball. Velez out, inning over, but the damage done. 3 cross the plate. Reds down going into the bottom of the 10th. Jim Day standing by, waiting to talk to you about Reds baseball on the postgame show on the concourse here at Great American Ballpark. He's turned his back on us. There you go. Thank you, Jim. Closer of the Giants, Brian Wilson. Into the game, owner of 28 saves on the year.
Now, we talked about some of the arms that the Giants have in their bullpen, and they are atop the leaderboard in relief earned run average. And one of the reasons why is this guy. 50 games, he is 28 of 34 in save opportunities. But you talk about strong arm and good stuff. Brian Wilson has got it.
Lance Nix leads it off against Wilson. 28 out of 34 save chances. Nix hitting .240. First AB of the night. Came on earlier as part of a injury replacement when Willie Taveras left the game with a mild strain of his right quad. Running to first base in the bottom of the 7th. Ishikawa, by the way, who pinch hit, had the base hit in the 10th, has stayed in the game. He's playing first base for San Francisco. Ryan Garco out of the game. Nick slaps it down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Kicks off the side wall. Velez comes in to get it. And the Reds' leader in 2 base hits, Lance Nix, finds himself at second base to start the bottom of the 10th inning.
And that ball actually touched by a fan as it went down off the line first and then bounced up near the left field stands. But Lance Nix, a little bit of heads-up hitting right there. I like that stroke, being able to go the other way, knowing that Wilson's a very fast hard ball pitcher, and that ball comes up, nearly caught by a fan, erred twice. And a leadoff double for the Reds.
24th 2-base hit of the year for Nix. Again, tops on this Reds team. Dickerson at the plate. Kevin Barker is on deck. He would represent the tying run. Dickerson tonight, 1 out of 4. A run batted in. close, but foul pass first.
Well, we've seen some balls right down the line today, 3 of them fair. I mean, that's not all that usual that you see a game in which you see 3 chalk lines kicked up throughout the course of the game. Each one of them have been bullets.
Of course, the one that caught the eye of Bruce Bochy was the one hit in the 2nd inning by Homer Bailey, which led to his ejection.
I don't think he'll ever know whether that ball was fair or foul. They can probably pull up every video log that has been known. We looked through every angle that we had. Could not come up with anything definitive. I know that when you're sitting in the Giants dugout, it probably looked foul, and when you're sitting in the Reds dugout, of course, it looked fair.
Well, that hit by Bailey, his first, made it 3-0 at the time in favor of the Reds. Nickerson is at the plate now at a hit later in that inning to make it 4-0. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 7 unanswered by the Giants in this game. 4 in the 6th, 3 in the 10th. Wilson trying to save this game for Howry. Nickerson is gone. 7th strikeout by Giants pitching. Now Barker will bat for Herrera. Second appearance at the plate for Barker since coming up on Friday during the Washington series. He struck out against Tyler Clippard in that Washington 4-game set in his only AB. His first since October 1st, 2006 in the big leagues while with Toronto was the at-bat he had on Saturday night. And he's ahead of the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Reds down 8-5, bottom of the 10th. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Barker didn't get it. 2-1.
That was one of those that are right down in the lefty zone too. You dream about those when you're a left-handed hitter, getting a pitcher to fire it up there around a little bit above the knees, challenging you. But when you're getting it up there at 96, that's a different story.
Awfully close there. Barker gets the call by way of the home plate umpire James Hoyt. It's 3-1. Joey Votto next. He represents the tying run. Barker to left field, down the line. Velez chasing and out of play.
Well, you've been around long enough, I think, Jim, to remember Kevin Barker back in the days when he was playing for Louisville back in 98, 99.
I actually do. He came up as a Brewers prospect then, and he was really highly thought of out of Virginia Tech.
Originally made the major leagues with the Brewers in 99. Then had a little cup of coffee also in the year 2000.
With San Diego later in his career also. Almost out of baseball, Barker, in 2003 when he was released by 2 different organizations and had to get back into the game and probably eat a little crow and start again at the AA level, the Phillies system that next year 04 at Reading. A little humble pie for him, but he's worked his way back. Here he is at 34 in the major leagues again. Strike 3 call.
Well, he got the benefit of a marginal pitch earlier in the at-bat. He will not get the benefit of this one. A little comeback action on that fastball. And James Hoy sees it right on the black.
So with 2 out, here is Votto. Wilson gets his 2nd consecutive strikeout. Closing in on his 29th save. Looking to get this 27th out. Votto 1 out of 4 with a home run. Big cut and a miss. home run ball in the fifth. His 18th made it 5-1 Reds at the time. Homer Bailey threw 5, having given up 1 run and 3 hits. Things really looked good at that time. Since then, all Giants. 4 in the 6th, 3 in the 10th. And a ball. In fact, the Reds do not have but 1 hit since that time. And that was the double by Nix that started the 10th inning. Since the homer by Votto in the 5th. Hard to first. Ishikawa gets it, steps out, game over. Game 1 of this 3-game series goes to the San Francisco Giants as they win it by the final score of 8-5, scoring 7 unanswered runs after the 5th inning. Winning pitcher in this game